Chapter 686. After defeating the first and second lives, Xiaofan was already very used to the tempering of the purple trial world. This was the process of cultivating the Saber Dao. He gathered the power of refinement and slowly opened the jade token in his dantian. This caused the most precious Saber Dao of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao to be thoroughly understood by Xiaofan bit by bit. As a result, Xiaofan devoted himself to the training and learning. He completely threw the treasures on the third floor out of his mind, completely forgetting about them. To Xiaofan, being able to cultivate the 100 moves of the 100 Lives Saber Dao was much more beneficial than obtaining a magical item. Moreover, learning the 100 moves meant that Xiaofan would be able to control 100 slaves. 100 slaves with battle prowess comparable to mid-tier immortal emperors. This was a priceless treasure. Xiaofan entered the third sealed arena. The one guarding the third arena was 3 worlds, who had mastered the third move of the 100 World Saber Dao. It was a middle-aged man with a tail behind him. In the confrontation with the third era, after dying 321 times, Xiaofan finally mastered the third move of the 100 Lives Blade Dao. Furthermore, he surpassed his predecessor and killed the third era with this move. After that, Xiaofan naturally obtained the power of refinement, as well as the powerful slave of his third life. Continue forward. Orange Trial World. After half a month of hunting and killing, Jia Lanzi and the other 2 immortals had finally killed all of the 1000 level 2-dimensional creatures in the Orange Trial World, metallic lifeforms. Then, he ascended to the third world, the Yellow Trial World. Jia Lanzi and the 2 immortals each absorbed an enormous amount of refinement power. It attacked the magic treasures stored in the dantian. When they entered the Yellow Trial World, Jia Lanzi and the other 2 immortals. All of them had completely refined and controlled close to 1000 immortal artifacts and treasures. Who, regardless of whether I succeed or fail, after I return to the immortal realm, I'll definitely be able to find a way out. Handing over the celestial artifact to the sect would definitely be a great merit. It could completely revitalize the sect. However, I can't relax. I have to continue taking risks. I will strive to make a name for myself in the Yellow Trial World, or even the Green Trial World. If I can obtain one of the 4 greatest magic treasures, I will be able to do so. It's enough to shake the entire immortal world. It was dazzling. Yellow Trial World. The 2 immortals, who had entered the Yellow Trial World long ago, had turned from hunters to prey in the face of a creature from a different dimension whose strength was comparable to a level 4 true immortal. They were being chased. The battle was extremely intense. The 2 immortals were unable to effectively attack the desert creatures with their own immortal arts, so they could only rely on their immortal artifacts. Speed attribute immortal artifact and defense attribute immortal artifact to preserve his life. Then, he would use attack attribute immortal artifact to fight. However, although the celestial artifact was powerful, with their celestial force, they were unable to perfectly display the power of the celestial artifact. The higher the quality of the celestial artifact, the greater the consumption on the body. These 2 immortals. After holding on for so long, he was already at the end of his rope. Even what he carried on his body. The elixirs to replenish the lost immortal force had all been used up. Kill. Rip adventurers apart. Kill. Amidst the rolling yellow sands. The densely packed desert life surged like a tide. He chased after the 2 immortals. By now, the 2 immortals who had entered the Yellow Trial World had met. They frantically ran for their lives. Yes, run for your life. That was because there were thousands of desert life forms chasing after them. They did not dare to fight at all. If the thousands of desert life forms caught up to them, they would be blasted into powder. Not even dregs would be left. The 2 immortals activated Immortal Do artifacts that were similar to the divine movement boots that Xiaofan controlled and sped away. Brother! Run! One of the immortals shouted bitterly and in a panic. Damn it! These desert life forms are in groups. It's difficult to deal with them. After so many days, our celestial force is almost depleted. If our celestial force is full, we can still activate the offensive immortal artifact and charge back. But now... Charge back? We activated this immortal do artifact to escape, and the little celestial force in our bodies is also being consumed. If this continues, our speed will become slower and slower. Sooner or later, we will be surrounded by those dirty desert life forms and killed. At that moment, the data above the two immortals' heads was displayed. One had hunted 1,487 desert life forms. The other had hunted 1,522 desert life forms. That was already the limit of what they could do. Even so, there was still a long way to go before he could ascend to the green trial world, where he needed to kill 100 desert creatures. We can't enter the green trial world to obtain the ultimate treasure. Finally, the two immortals realized the crux of the problem. The situation now is very unfavorable for us. Looks like we can only teleport out and end the trial adventure. Roar! The Cosmos Pouch, the Arch Slayer, the Exquisite Pagoda, the Sky Fiend clone, those four top-notch ultimate treasures that could shake the entire immortal realm. We know where they are, but we can't get them, damn it. I can't accept this. One of the immortals roared. At that moment, the immortal light of the dual-type combat boots on their feet gradually dimmed. Their energy consumption was almost depleted. Their pursuers and desert life forms were getting closer and closer. What other ultimate treasures do we need? Staying alive is more important. The other immortal roared in exasperation. Now, it seems that those four treasures are not something we can covet. It's too difficult. We can't make it through the yellow trial world at all. Even if we did, we would have to kill an even more powerful alternate dimension life form to obtain the last of the four treasures, freak. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao never thought of letting us get those treasures, did he? Forget it, retreat. It's not too late to retreat now. Moreover, we'll definitely make a profit. We might not have the chance to lay our hands on the four ultimate treasures, but the repeated hunting of the alternate dimension life forms has allowed us to obtain too much refinement power, refining and controlling the thousands of mystic treasures in our Dantian. These mystic treasures are actually of very good quality. Bringing them back to the immortal realm is also a great fortune. That's right, brother. You're right, we're actually returning with a full load, so we won't be greedy. Otherwise, we'll be buried in there. Let's go. The two immortals communicated with Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's will with their divine thoughts, requesting to end the trial and leave immediately. Soon, the two immortals disappeared from the yellow trial world, completely teleported out and ending the adventure. Just like that, 2 of the 6 adventurers who entered the 3rd level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove had already left. Completely exited. Soon after, Jia Lanzi and the other 2 immortals ascended from the orange trial world to the yellow trial world. They also faced the extremely difficult desert life forms. A thrilling war of attrition began. Jia Lanzi could still use his own immortal technique power and immortal treasures to hunt the desert life forms. The other 2 immortals could only rely on immortal treasures to fight. They could only rely on their immortal weapons to fight. Of course, their consumption of immortal force was huge every day. Every day, they had to consume large amounts of elixirs to replenish their immortal power. 10 days later, the 2 immortals were doing their best. After exhausting all their energy and killing thousands of desert life forms. Finally, they could not take it anymore and chose to leave the trial. Of course. They returned with a full load, controlling thousands of mystic treasures. It was a worthwhile trip. Now, only Jia Lanzi and Xiaofan were left in the 3rd level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove. Another 10 days later. Heaven-destroying demon subduing pestle. Close to 10,000 desert life forms surrounded Jia Lanzi. Jia Lanzi burned all the immortal power in his body to the limit, striking out a mystic treasure with terrifying attack power that was enough to tear the earth apart. At the same time, Jia Lanzi waved his hands continuously, striking out a series of subtle and profound immortal techniques. Bang! 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 These desert life forms were sent flying and shattered, dying without a burial place. The power of refinement surged like a tide, washing into Jia Lanzi's body. At the same time, the numbers above Jia Lanzi's head also skyrocketed. Finally, 1010, it's done. Jia Lanzi's face was pale, and there was a deep sense of exhaustion on his face. It was as if he was a lamp that had run out of oil. Under the blazing dazzling light, Jia Lanzi's body slowly flew into the green trial space. However, now Jia Lanzi was on the verge of collapse. Lucky. I was really lucky to be able to kill 1,000 desert life forms. Desert life forms comparable to level 4 true immortals also consumed a lot of my energy. I'm completely exhausted, then, in the next green trial space. I'm afraid, green trial space. Primeval forest. An endless primeval forest. Jia Lanzi walked in the forest, on the muddy road, his mind tense. His immortal sense spread out, his eyes and ears listening in all directions, monitoring the situation. 2 offensive immortal weapons and an immortal talisman were tightly held in Jia Lanzi's hands. Now, Jia Lanzi did not dare to be careless. On one hand, his immortal power had been consumed too much in the yellow trial space. Even if he recovered now, he would not be able to return to his peak state in a short period of time. On the other hand, in this green trial space, Jia Lanzi felt an extremely uneasy, even ominous feeling. This feeling made Jia Lanzi's hair stand on end. At this moment, roar, within the range of Jia Lanzi's immortal sense, a violent, thunderous roar of a beast came through the air. Puff! 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 The sound wave spread out like a ripple, and everywhere it went, countless towering ancient trees were uprooted from the ground. Then, they were quickly crushed into powder. So fierce! Jia Lanzi's mind was focused, and in an instant, he felt the danger. Whoosh! Jia Lanzi rose into the air, and the next moment, a furry, gorilla-like monster appeared in front of him. This monster was covered in golden fur, and the aura it exuded was extremely powerful, as deep as the sea. Even the air that this gorilla-like monster spat out condensed into the shape of a dragon, abnormally powerful. What? Combat power comparable to a level 5 perfected immortal. Jia Lanzi was completely shocked. He did not expect that this trial would be more and more exaggerated, more and more ridiculous. Although Jia Lanzi was a genius, he was still a level 2 perfected immortal. However, in the end, he was only a level 2 true immortal. In the face of a level 5 true immortal creature from a different dimension, he could not do anything. But in the end, he was still a level 2 perfected immortal. Die! The gorilla-like monster spat out human language, its sharp claws as sharp as knives. It clawed at Jia Lanzi. In an instant, the space was cut open like tofu, as fast as lightning. In the time it clawed, a dragon and tiger accompanied each other, and the air in the area was sucked dry. Evil creature. Scram! Jia Lanzi used an immortal movement technique that was close to teleportation, dodging it, and retaliated with an immortal artifact. Just like that, Jia Lanzi and the gorilla-like monster began to fight. It was almost impossible to tell who would win. The fight lasted for hundreds of breaths. Jia Lanzi relied on his large number of immortal artifacts to kill this gorilla-like monster. Hoo-hoo! Jia Lanzi bent down and panted heavily. That was close, too close. I was almost cut open by this evil creature a few times just now. Although killing such a gorilla-like monster would give me a considerable amount of power of refinement, if I had encountered a few more gorilla-like monsters, I would have been unable to resist. Jia Lanzi knew this as well. He was so close to obtaining that supreme treasure, the Heavenly Demon Clan's avatar, but it was actually so far away. Forget it. Since I've already come to this green trial world, I have to give it a try no matter what. Jia Lanzi's eyes flashed with extreme determination. Without batting an eyelid, he burned an immortal talisman to conceal his aura. Then, he disappeared into the dense forest. Just like that, Jia Lanzi was almost nocturnal. While recuperating, he waited for an opportunity to assassinate the extra-dimensional creatures in this green trial world that were comparable to level 5 true immortals. Jia Lanzi had a few immortal artifacts that were extremely good at concealment, and he had also refined and mastered some elixirs that could strengthen one's foundation and recover immortal energy. He never fought head-on with the gorilla-like monsters, choosing instead to ambush, assassinate, and stalk. Half a month later, Jia Lanzi had already killed many gorilla-like monsters, reaching a total of 329. The power of refinement that erupted from each gorilla-like monster was almost enough to break open an immortal artifact. However, in this half a month of hunting, Jia Lanzi had a few close brushes with death and was surrounded by danger. Another half a month passed. Jia Lanzi had ambushed and killed a total of 1,334 gorilla-like monsters. Another half a month passed. The total number of gorilla-like monsters killed had reached 3,986. This also caused the total number of immortal artifacts and treasures in Jia Lanzi's Dantian to reach nearly 10,000. There were about 60,000 immortal artifacts and treasures in Jia Lanzi's Dantian. Now, he had refined and mastered almost 1/6 of them. The harvest was extremely huge. However, in the following hunts, the gorilla-like monsters seemed to have learned their lesson. They always traveled in groups of 3 to 5, rarely alone. Now, Jia Lanzi was quite experienced in hunting. With his treasures, he could at most fight against 2 to 3 gorilla-like monsters. If there were more than 3, he would definitely not be able to defeat them, and he might even be killed in an instant. Now that the gorilla-like monsters were traveling in groups, it was extremely difficult for Jia Lanzi to make a move. Jia Lanzi began to endure. He observed in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to strike. Just like that, an entire month passed. In this month, Jia Lanzi only found 2 opportunities to kill 5 gorilla-like monsters, and then there were no more gains. In the following time, the gorilla-like monsters began to gather like a tide, searching frantically in this green trial space, wanting to kill Jia Lanzi. Jia Lanzi began to hide everywhere. It was as if he was fleeing. There were a few times when he was almost discovered. After avoiding the encirclement of a gorilla-like monster team for the last time, Jia Lanzi finally made up his mind: retreat. I, Jia Lanzi, am also judging the situation. If this continues, not only will I not be able to obtain the treasures, but I will also definitely be killed in this green trial space. Jia Lanzi had made up his mind. Then, Jia Lanzi directly used his thoughts to communicate with Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's divine will, and directly left. Just as Jia Lanzi was about to leave, he looked up at the sky and muttered to himself, "Brother Xiao, I wonder how your trial is going. The purple trial world is extremely dangerous, but you're talented, so I hope you'll be able to reap great rewards." Just like that, Jia Lanzi left the trial. At this point, of the 6 people who entered Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove, 5 immortals had already retreated, leaving only Xiaofan. Moreover, the 4 most precious treasures of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's life were all sealed and preserved in the 3rd level. To be continued. Chapter 687. The adventure of the 3rd level of Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure trove lasted for several months. Finally, out of the 6 people who entered, other than Xiaofan who was immortal, the other 5 immortals were all teleported out. The adventure was over. Moreover, once they left, it meant that they could no longer enter Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove. On a floating platform outside the huge planet, 4 immortals stood on the platform. Now, they were all talking to each other, everyone, I didn't expect that none of us could enter the fourth world, the green trial world. Sigh, the four most precious magic treasures of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's life, the one with the lowest quality, are all in the green trial world. Sigh, we can't touch it, it's too difficult. All of us came out from the yellow trial world. Not to mention the green trial world, even the desert creatures in the yellow trial world are hard to deal with, isn't that right? Those level 3 alien space creatures, the desert creatures, their individual combat strength is equivalent to a level 4 true immortal. Moreover, they always come at us like a swarm of bees. We can't kill them even with immortal treasures and magic treasures. Fortunately, we didn't end up with nothing this time. At least, we controlled a lot of immortal treasures and magic treasures in our bodies. That's true. But it's a pity. Which one of us doesn't have tens of thousands of treasures in our dantian? But in the end, we only have a few thousand of them in our hands. The others, once we come out, disappear without a trace. It's like a dreamy bubble. Speaking of this, the immortals sighed. Alright. Don't think about these unlucky things. Let's talk about the harvest. One immortal shouted. Alright. Don't think about these unlucky things. Now, I have control over 3,459 magic treasures. Among them, there are close to 1,000 of very good quality. After I go back, I'll give up most of the magic treasures and keep a small portion for myself. My future is absolutely limitless. Yes, I have control over 3,986 magic treasures. Some of them are offensive magic treasures. If they are given to our sect elders, they can kill level 8 and level 9 true immortals. Now, if I go back and hand over the magic treasures, the sect will fulfill its promise to nurture me and make me the chief disciple of the sect. I have refined and controlled 3,598 magic treasures. I've refined and controlled 3,289 magic treasures. Oh, looks like everyone's harvest is about the same. The immortals chuckled. One of the immortals frowned. Oh right. Now, only Jia Lanzi and Xiaofan are left on the third floor. Do they have any chance of obtaining those treasures? The four of them fell silent. Actually, subconsciously. They didn't get the best treasures, and they didn't want others to get them. Xiaofan, that little mortal brat, although he has many secrets, you have to know that Xiaofan was transported to a purple trial world. Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao also said that there were 100 level 7-dimensional creatures in the purple trial world. Each of these level 7-dimensional creatures was equivalent to a mid-level immortal emperor. Immortal emperor? That's the pinnacle of existence in this world. In our immortal world, every single immortal emperor that exists today is a Leviathan who rules over the boundless territory of the immortal world in countless sections. There are only a few hundred immortal emperors in the immortal world right now. Mid-level immortal emperors are even rarer. Xiaofan didn't even need to fight a mid-level immortal emperor to face off against a creature from an alternate dimension. Just a glance was enough to shatter him. Ha ha ha. Xiaofan was so insistent on getting the purple key. If he had only gotten the red or orange keys, he might have been able to gain some refining power and control a few more magic treasures. Now that he's in the purple trial, he's done for. Let's not talk about Xiaofan for now. What about Jia Lanzi? Jia Lanzi. He got the red key and entered the red trial space. His path is the same as ours. According to Jia Lanzi's ability, he might be one step ahead of us and enter the green trial space. Kill 10,000 creatures from another dimension and obtain a treasure. It's a heavenly demon clone. There's a heavenly demon clone in the green trial space. After refining, he can nurture a mid-level immortal emperor clone. Hiss. Could it be that Jia Lanzi really succeeded? At this point, the immortals all looked at the planet with great unease. They had waited for an entire month. Xiaolanzi had yet to come out. Oh no! It's been so long, and Xiaolanzi still hasn't come out. He's either dead in there, or he's still adventuring. Damn it, don't let Xiaolanzi get the treasure. However, at this moment, boom! The giant planet in Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair wriggled. Then, a stream of light squeezed out. The stream of light landed directly on the platform. It revealed Xiaolanzi's figure. Right now, Xiaolanzi was extremely exhausted, and his appearance was slightly disheveled. Xiaolanzi! The four immortals roared. Everyone, you haven't left yet? Xiaolanzi tidied up his appearance. This. The four immortals looked at each other, not sure what to make of it. Finally, one of the immortals said hesitantly. Xiaolanzi, in the process of the trial, how far did you go? Xiaolanzi said bluntly without holding anything back. I'm not talented, I only made it to the 4th level, the Green Trial World. The Green Trial World. The four immortals cried out, losing their composure. Yes, in the Green Trial World, there's an alternate dimension life similar to the devil gorillas. Extremely powerful. Single combat power. No weaker than a level 5 true immortal. Xiaolanzi said with lingering fear. This, then. Brother Xiaolanzi, did you kill 10,000 of those devil gorillas, and obtained a treasure? That's right, it's a heavenly demon clone, a heavenly demon clone. The four immortals looked at Xiaolanzi nervously. Ha ha ha, killed 10,000 devil gorillas? Easier said than done. Xiaolanzi replied calmly. Devil gorillas comparable to level 5 true immortals. In the beginning, I could still ambush them. I killed a few, but then they formed a group and chased me everywhere. It's already very good that I was able to teleport out in time and didn't die inside. Xiaolanzi shrugged. I only did my best to kill thousands of devil gorillas, oh. The four immortals let out a long sigh of relief when they heard this. Yes. One of the immortals said with absolute certainty. An alternate dimension life comparable to a level 5 true immortal. To be honest, it's not something we level 2 true immortals can handle, even brother Xiaolanzi. You're talented and have a magic treasure, but you definitely can't kill all 10,000. Brother Xiaolanzi's words are not false. I wonder how many immortal weapons and magic treasures you've refined and controlled now. At this moment, a soft puffing sound came from Xiaolanzi's dantian. The magic treasures in my body that I haven't refined and controlled in time are being destroyed. Xiaolanzi said indifferently, feeling very helpless. I've killed thousands of devil gorillas and obtained a lot of refining power. I've roughly refined and controlled more than 9,000 immortal weapons and magic treasures now. Amazing. Brother Xiaolanzi is amazing. More than 9,000 magic treasures. Even if Brother Xiaolanzi's sect is rich, it's impossible for them to keep more than 9,000 magic treasures. Now that Brother Xiaolanzi returns, your status will definitely skyrocket. We'll all have to rely on Brother Xiaolanzi in the future. The four immortals hurriedly said politely. That's easy to say. When you return to the immortal world, you'll definitely be treated with great importance, Xiaolanzi said casually. Are you all going to return to the immortal world now? Yes, it's time to go back. This mortal dimension is really filthy and dirty. Staying here for another day makes my entire body uncomfortable. Moreover, the higher-ups have sent us a message, asking us to end our adventure and immediately return to the immortal dimension so as to avoid any unexpected complications. Then, let's go back. The four immortals all expressed their strong desire to return to the immortal world immediately. They were simply eager to return. Brother Xiaolanzi, what are you still dilly-dallying for? Let's go home together. The immortals all laughed. Xiaolanzi frowned slightly. I've become good friends with Brother Xiao in this lower realm. Now, I'm going to Brother Xiao's plane to bid farewell to some of my mortal friends. Xiaofan. The four immortals all laughed mockingly, then looked at the planet. Xiaofan is indeed in danger in the purple trial world. Brother Jiaolanzi, when you go to Xiaofan's plane, you can also comfort Xiaofan's family, let them, ha 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 ha, my condolences, ha 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 ha. As soon as they finished speaking, the four immortals ignited their transportation talismans. Four spatial wormholes directly rushed down from the other side of the sky, like dreamy rainbows. Let's go. Let's hurry home. The four immortals immediately set off, then cupped their hands and bid farewell to Jiaolanzi. Jiaolanzi returned the greeting with a smile. Soon, the four immortals disappeared without a trace. At this time, Jiaolanzi once again stared at the planet, his eyes unblinking. After a long time, Jiaolanzi murmured. Brother Xiao, I hope you're blessed by the heavens. I hope you can safely pass this trial and obtain treasures, Now, I'll return to Brother Xiao's plane to see sect leader Wu and other friends. Jiaolanzi had made up his mind. Just as Jiaolanzi was about to use his movement technique and head in the direction of Xiaofan's plane, suddenly, Jiaolanzi's figure stopped. His eyes flashed, and his ears trembled slightly, as if listening to someone speak. The next moment, Jiaolanzi hesitated. What's going on? The sect sent me a message, telling me to return to the immortal world immediately. Did something happen to the sect? This shouldn't be. Forget it, the higher-ups must have sensed that I've ended my adventure and want me to return. As he spoke, Jiaolanzi took out an immortal talisman from his bosom, ignited it, and summoned a spatial wormhole. Jiaolanzi stepped onto the spatial wormhole step by step, facing the planet, and cupped his hands. Brother Xiao, the sect has ordered me to return immediately. I can't disobey, so I'll return to the immortal world first. When I'm done with the various matters in the immortal world, I'll definitely descend to your plane again. At that time, I hope Brother Xiao can also come out, and we brothers can have a good chat. As he spoke, Jiaolanzi also disappeared without a trace. To be continued. Chapter 688. The Immortal World. The immortal world was a huge special space within the universe, and it was almost endless. The entire world of immortals was filled with the supreme spirit energy of the immortal world. There was also the mighty power of the laws. Strictly speaking, the special universe in which the world of immortals was located was divided into two parts. One was the immortal world where immortals lived. The other part was the demon realm, which was dark, evil, and seething with demonic aura. Immortal world, Yao world, immortals, Yao race. These were two races that were extremely opposed to each other. Since ancient times, they had been fighting fiercely. Under the leadership of the monster god, the monster race had once wanted to devour the entire immortal world. However, after fusing with the egg of the cosmic behemoth, countless immortals and immortal emperors sacrificed their lives to seal the demon god. The loss of the demon egg caused the demon race to be unable to recover. That was why the situation in the immortal world was so good now, and they were firmly suppressing the Yao world. Moreover, as long as the demon god's egg was not in the immortal world, the demon race would not be able to rise again. Of course, the immortal world didn't have enough power to completely conquer the Yao realm. After all, the world of immortals had suffered great losses during the fight against the egg of the Yao god. He needed a long time to recuperate. Thus, in the last 100 years, the immortal dimension and demon dimension had been biding their time, and there hadn't been any large-scale battles. The immortal world. The core region. Divine mountains stretched endlessly, multicolored energy rushing into the heavens, multicolored light of all colors. Jade seas and blue skies, there were countless heavenly palaces, like jade dragons, situated within. This area had the densest concentration of immortal chi in the entire immortal world. The dragon vein was hidden within the divine mountain. In the immortal world, it was publicly recognized as the strongest sect. The Tianyi Palace. It was located in this area. And Jiaolanzi was the most outstanding one among the young immortals of the Tianyi Palace. The Tianyi Palace was a big sect with a powerful celestial emperor. It was a powerful sect in the celestial realm. Jiaolanzi was indeed outstanding for being the #1 genius in such a sect. After returning to the immortal world from the mortal world, Jiaolanzi directly returned to the sect and took out the more than 9,000 immortal artifacts that he had refined and controlled from his Dantian. At that moment, the entire Tianyi Palace was shocked. It was completely shocking. More than 9,000 immortal artifacts and Dharma treasures. Indeed, the Tianyi Palace was powerful and had countless magic treasures and secret manuals. An immortal artifact. In the battle with the demon realm, he had consumed too much energy. At present, the Tianyi Palace only had about 5,000 magic treasures, secret manuals and magic weapons. Moreover, there were good and bad qualities. Now, Jiaolanzi had brought back 9,000 magic treasures, which had brought the Tianyi Palace to a higher level. In the future, the position of the Tianyi Palace as the #1 sect in the celestial realm would be even more unshakable. Therefore, when Jiaolanzi returned to the celestial world, he received great praise. The sect was shocked. The sect master rewarded him, and all the elders received him. Moreover, Jiaolanzi had received a promise. The Tianyi Palace would spare no effort to cultivate Jiaolanzi into a celestial emperor. Countless immortal pills were bestowed. Jiaolanzi even picked out a few of the thousands of Dharma treasures that were most suitable for him to use and most compatible with his soul characteristics. Now, Jiaolanzi's prestige and status in the Tianyi Palace were like the sun at high noon. On the third day after Jiaolanzi returned to the sect, a few white-haired, sage-like old men with long beards found Jiaolanzi in his courtyard. Elders, Jiaolanzi hurriedly came out to greet them. May I know what elders have come to teach me? Ha 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 ha. Good. Jiaolanzi, you've been out for a few days, and your spirit and bearing have improved by leaps and bounds. In front of us, you're neither servile nor overbearing. Ha ha ha. Your mind has been transformed. You've been reborn. The elders all laughed with relief. Jiaolanzi, we can conclude that within 10 years, you can at least make continuous breakthroughs and become a level 6 true immortal. Elders, you flatter me. Jiaolanzi hurriedly said modestly. Well, Jiaolanzi, you're the future hope of our Tianyi Palace. There's no doubt about that. Come with us now, the elders hastily said. Oh. Elder, where are you taking this disciple? Jiaolanzi asked. However, from the expression on his face, it seemed that he already knew what was going on. Well, the sect leader and the other immortal emperors want to see you. There are some things that the sect leader and the other immortal emperors want to ask you in person, the elders said truthfully. In fact, although Jiaolanzi had already expected that he would be taken for questioning, he was still a little nervous now. The sect leader of the Tianyi Palace was in the immortal emperor realm, and in the entire immortal world, he was one of the top immortal emperors. The friends of the sect leader of the Tianyi Palace were also immortal emperors. Jiaolanzi was also very nervous about being called over by several immortal emperors for a lecture. However, Jiaolanzi also knew that this matter could not be avoided. Then, elders, let's go, Jiaolanzi said with a smile. Okay. At the core of the mountains of the Tianyi Palace, there was a palace in the sky. This palace was built in the void, surrounded by clouds and mist. It was extremely ethereal and had an indescribable charm. In all directions of the palace in the sky, there were many immortal formations. It was difficult for outsiders to enter. There was a long staircase that connected to the palace in the sky. Jiaolanzi was led by several elders to the front of the stairs and began to climb up. After a full 10,000 steps, finally, Jia Lanzi and 2 elders arrived at the palace in the sky. Inside the green gauze tent, they saw several figures sitting inside the green gauze tent. There was no violent and overbearing aura coming from them. There was only a light breeze, free and unfettered, and there was a flow of energy. Sect Master, Lord Immortal Emperors, Jia Lanzi has arrived. Several elders bowed in greeting. Jia Lanzi also hurriedly bowed. Sect Master, you've been well, Lord Immortal Emperors. Jia Lanzi pays his respects. Well. Inside the gauze tent, a middle-aged man's voice came out. Jia Lanzi. Very good, you are very good. This time, among the younger generation of our immortal world, countless geniuses have come down to the lower realm to seize the treasure of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. They have suffered heavy losses, and only a few people can return with full rewards. Jia Lanzi. You have brought back thousands of magic treasures for the sect and made a great contribution to the revitalization of the sect. This emperor will remember this. Sect leader, serving the sect is what a disciple should do. I don't dare to be arrogant. Jia Lanzi hurriedly bowed. Good, Jia Lanzi, now, after you came down to the lower realm. All kinds of encounters and adventures. Say them one by one. Don't miss anything. When you were in the lower realm, the mortal friends you made, also say them one by one. In the gauze tent, the middle-aged man asked. Well. Jia Lanzi did not dare to resist and directly talked about his encounter with Xiaofan in the lower realm, until the end of the exploration of the 3rd layer of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. Of course, some of the performance of Xiaofan was too heaven-defying, so Jia Lanzi held back. Oh. In other words, in the treasure of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao, only Xiaofan, that mortal, is left? After listening, several immortal emperors in the gauze tent spoke at the same time. This is like this. Jia Lanzi paused for a moment and then said. Brother Xiao is still in the treasure, but I don't know if he can pass the trial. It seems that it will be very difficult. After all, Xiaofan was teleported to a purple trial world, in which there are creatures at the level of a medium immortal emperor, the sect leader of the First Heaven Society said. However, this mortal Xiaofan is too strange. As Jia Lanzi said, Xiaofan has indeed created all kinds of miracles. As a mortal, he was actually able to suppress a group of immortals like you. This is simply inconceivable. Even Jia Lanzi, your performance is far less amazing than Xiaofan's. There must be something strange about this Xiaofan. There must be a great secret. At this point, the head of the Tianyi Palace's voice trembled. Jia Lanzi was shocked. An immortal emperor had already set his eyes on Xiaofan. Because of this mortal Xiaofan, the sect leader of the First Heaven Society, his state of mind had changed. The state of mind of an immortal emperor was as calm as still water, but now, there were obvious waves. Sect leader, what do you mean? Jia Lanzi asked carefully. Investigate. We must thoroughly investigate Xiaofan. An immortal sitting next to the sect leader of the First Heaven Society said, trembling with excitement. The Qianquan bag, the Linglong pagoda, the emperor-slaying saber, and the doppelganger of the heavenly demons, these treasures must not fall into the hands of a mortal. We must ensure that nothing goes wrong. What's more, Xiaofan has a great secret. Investigate. We immortal emperors will join forces. Open a wormhole, let a few high-level perfected immortals carry magic treasures, force their way to the mortal world, directly enter the plane where Xiaofan is, and investigate. If you encounter any resistance, kill without mercy. No. Absolutely not. Jia Lanzi said immediately. Sect leader, immortal emperors, I, Jia Lanzi, am willing to go to the mortal world. Jia Lanzi, you and Xiaofan are good friends, so I won't make things difficult for you. You should cultivate in seclusion. Don't get involved in this matter, I have my own ideas, the sect leader of the First Heaven Society said decisively in an unquestionable tone. Ju Dao Immortal Emperor's Treasure. The Purple Trial Space. Bang! Xiaofan slashed out, and a dazzling saber light with a trajectory in line with the heavenly Dao killed a bald man with a long tail. Then, the power of refinement returned to Xiaofan. He sat cross-legged and began to meditate again. Now, Xiaofan's aura was becoming more and more fierce and domineering. After the bald man was killed and decomposed, his body condensed again, and he bowed to Xiaofan respectfully. Master, the 54th is willing to submit to you. Xiaofan said lightly. The next moment, the bald man turned into a beam of light and entered Xiaofan's soul sense sea. Good. Although I've been killed countless times, I've learned the 54th move of the 100 Lives Saber technique. Now, my saber technique has made great progress, and my understanding of the saber is getting deeper and deeper, close to the Great Way. Moreover, I've taken 54 slaves comparable to middle-level immortal emperors. Ha 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 ha. Xiaofan laughed heartily, stood up, and walked toward the next light door. To be continued. Chapter 689. At this time, Jia Lanzi was extremely shocked. After the master of the Tianyi Palace and the other immortal emperors questioned him in detail about Xiaofan, they actually decided to send immortals to the mortal world again to deal with Xiaofan, and even people from Xiaofan's world. In this regard, Jia Lanzi also tried his best to persuade them. No. Sect leader, immortal emperors, why do you have to lower yourselves and send immortals to the mortal world? To deal with some mortals, this is a loss of face for us immortals. Sect leader, immortal emperors, please reconsider. Enough, Jia Lanzi, from today on, you can cultivate in seclusion, the master of the Tianyi Palace said coldly and discontentedly. After this matter is dealt with, you can come out of seclusion. As soon as he finished speaking, a hurricane-like spatial power directly blew Jia Lanzi away. Lord Sect Master, several of the elders cried out in terror. Lord Sect Master, please forgive Jia Lanzi. He did not mean to offend Lord Sect Master. Well, you don't have to worry. I just sent Jia Lanzi to the space of 9 suns where the Tianyi Palace cultivated geniuses for generations. The space of 9 suns was a special space opened up by the previous masters of the Tianyi Palace. It was filled with the divine qi of 9 suns. Jia Lanzi could cultivate in it by leaps and bounds. When I deal with Xiaofan, I will let Jia Lanzi out. Hearing this, the elders' expressions eased a little. At this time, there was a brief silence. Inside the gauze tent, the immortal emperors seemed to be discussing secretly. After a while, summon Jun Linzi. The master of the Tianyi Palace said quickly. Soon. A young man appeared. He appeared in front of the gauze tent. This man. Her skin was smooth and glossy, and her facial features were sharp and chiseled. Her eyes were filled with innate pride and domineeringness. Her hair was tied up in a bun with a wooden hairpin piercing through it. She wore coarse hemp clothes and was empty-handed. But his aura was like that of an ancient divine mountain, as if he had everything under control. Jun Linzi. A level 7 perfected immortal. Although he looked like a young man, his real age was over 1,000 years old. He was also one of the most monstrous geniuses of that era. As a sword immortal, his offensive power was comparable to that of a level 8 true immortal. If he were to use his immortal treasures, defeating an average level 8 true immortal would not be an issue at all. Jun Linzi. Even the elders with profound cultivation bases were stunned. Facing Jun Linzi, who was showing off his abilities, he was a little cautious. Greetings, elders. Jun Linzi's lips curled into an extremely devilish smile. He then looked at the canopy and cupped his hands. Disciple greets sect leader and elders. Well, Jun Linzi, I can see that the traces of sword chi on your body are becoming more and more flawless. You've already entered the way of swordsmanship. Not bad, the head of the Tianyi Palace praised. He paused for a moment. Jun Linzi, I want you to make a trip down to the lower realms, the lower bound. Jun Linzi paused for a moment, then smiled confidently. If I'm not mistaken, it should be, to deal with that mortal, Xiaofan, right? Well, according to the young immortal who came back from the exploration of Celestial Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, the one who gained the most in this exploration was immortal, Xiaofan. Sect leader, are you going to deal with Xiaofan? It doesn't matter. As long as you give the order, I will immediately kill Xiaofan's entire family, destroy his plane, destroy his cultivation, and bring him back. Well, Jun Linzi, you can even defeat a level 8 true immortal. Now you want to go down to the lower bound to deal with immortal. Indeed, it's like killing a chicken with a butcher's knife. But just take it as a way to relax yourself. If you do this well, I'll reward you, the head of the Tianyi Palace said with a smile. Yes. However, sect leader, with my cultivation and aura, it's difficult for me to go down to the lower bound. Because the space rampart in the mortal world is very fragile and can't bear my aura. I'm afraid that if I go down to the lower bound, I'll break through the space rampart in the mortal world. Jun Linzi said with a frown. Jun Linzi, you don't have to worry about this, the head of the Tianyi Palace said in a wise manner. We've done some research. In the vast mortal world, there are some areas with stronger space ramparts. We've tried our best and finally found an uninhabited planet in the mortal world. The space rampart there can allow a level 4 true immortal to descend. Then, we'll give you some special celestial artifacts that can hide your aura. Together, we'll open a space-time wormhole and let you go down to the lower bound. Jun Linzi was overjoyed. That's great. Listen, Jun Linzi, now Xiaofan may be exploring Celestial Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. But you can't enter Celestial Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. When you go down to the lower bound, hide your aura, find Xiaofan's plane, and hide there. Don't alert him for the time being. Just stay in Xiaofan's plane and wait for him to return. If something unexpected happens, you can capture all the mortals in Xiaofan's plane. Or, kill all of them. This time, you go down to the lower bound with some outstanding immortals of the Tianyi sect. I'll find a way to hide your aura so that the space rampart in the mortal world won't collapse. Yes, Jun Linzi. In the mortal world. On a barren planet in the vast universe. There was no trace of life on this planet. At this moment, boom! A huge space-time wormhole fell from the sky. Flowers fell from the sky, and golden lotuses appeared on the ground. Soon, a group of people with extraordinary auras walked out of the space-time wormhole. The person in the lead was Jun Linzi. Behind Jun Linzi, there were as many as 80 immortals. These 80 immortals were all level 6 true immortals. Is this the mortal world? The space rampart is so fragile. Some level 6 true immortals shouted. Don't be so noisy. Jun Linzi flipped his right hand and a Rui scepter inlaid with gems that looked like stars appeared in his hand. With a wave of the Rui scepter, a faint glow was emitted and shrouded the group of immortals led by Jun Linzi. The Rui scepter immediately concealed the aura of the immortals. How magical! No wonder it's the heirloom treasure of the Tianyi sect. It can hide us temporarily. As long as we don't attack, no ordinary person in the mortal world will be able to see through our disguise. The level 6 true immortals exclaimed. Jun Linzi put away the Rui scepter and said coldly. This artifact can only hide our aura. However, once we unleash our immortal force, the space around us will collapse, and we might be killed by the fragments of the space rampart. Therefore, listen carefully. Don't attack recklessly when you're in the mortal world. Even if you're going to attack, you must be prepared to dodge, so that you won't be injured by the fragments of the space rampart. Now, I have the coordinates of Xiaofan's plane. Let's go there straight away. When we arrive at Xiaofan's plane, we'll conceal our aura and hide there, waiting for Xiaofan to return. Yes. Senior brother Jun Linzi. After a pause, one of the level 6 true immortals asked. Why did the sect leader send us down to the mortal world to deal with Immortal? We're all level 6 true immortals, and you, senior brother Jun Linzi, are the most powerful sword immortals among all the level 7 true immortals. Is a mere mortal worth our time? Shut up. Do you know what's so special about Xiaofan? He has the means to kill immortals. Jun Linzi reprimanded. Well, killing immortals is just killing some level 2 true immortals. In the immortal realm, we can kill dozens of level 2 true immortals with a single slap. Most of the level 6 true immortals were still unconvinced. Be that as it may, we can't be careless. Once Xiaofan comes out from Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, he might have a few peerless treasures in his possession. Jun Linzi sneered. Then, a brilliant light burst out from his eyes. The Heaven-Earth Pouch, the Exquisite Pagoda, the Monarch Executioner, the Sky Demon Clone. If we obtain any of those treasures and hand them over to the sect, it'll be a great contribution, even greater than what Jia Lanzi has done this time. With that, the level 6 true immortals were all riled up. All right. Senior brother Jun Linzi, we'll listen to your command this time. We must capture Xiaofan and obtain the treasures. Moreover, Xiaofan is full of secrets to begin with. All right, enough with the nonsense. Let's head to Xiaofan's realm now. With Jun Linzi's order, a large group of immortals disappeared from the barren planet. Xiaofan's realm. Now, Xiaofan's dimension was flourishing and flourishing, like the sun in the sky. Ever since Wu Hao, Xiao Mingchu, and the others returned to the realm from Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, they took out the elixirs they had refined and mastered in the second level to nurture the demons of this realm with great potential. As for Wu Hao and the others, they seized the time and directly entered the Wuxia pagoda to begin seclusion. After this round of training and tempering, they had all firmly grasped the immortal fate. They believed that this seclusion would allow them to ascend to the heavens in a single step and become immortals. This was a huge matter. After all, apart from Wu Hao and the others from the Cloud and Rain sect, there were also some elders of the Wuxia pagoda, ancient figureheads, and Xiaofan's slaves who had touched the immortal fate. Once all of them became immortals, Xiaofan's realm would have dozens of immortals in one go. This was something that had never happened in the history of the mortal world. It could be said that the entire realm was immersed in an extremely prosperous atmosphere. Several months later, Jun Linzi and the other immortals had already quietly arrived at Xiaofan's realm. They concealed themselves, disguised, and hid in the marketplace. They did everything they could to find out information about Xiaofan's realm. Naturally, Wu Hao and the others did not know that a group of giants was already lying on their sides beside them. To be continued. Chapter 690. Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's Treasure. Purple Trial World. Xiaofan naturally did not know that the sect master of the Tianyi sect and some immortal emperors had already taken action against him and sent many high-level genuine immortals into his plane. If Xiaofan knew about this, he would definitely go crazy. Phew. In the secret initiation room, Xiaofan was naked from the waist up. His skin was like jade, and his pores were emitting saber chi like coiling dragons. Hey, I have killed 93 creatures from different dimensions, learned 93 moves of the strongest saber skills, and obtained 93 slaves comparable to middle-level immortal emperors. There are only 7 moves left in the 100 Lives Saber Principle, and I have learned all of them. Ha ha ha. During this period of time, Xiaofan had simply endured hardships and cultivated as if he was hanging on a beam to stab his thigh. There was no distinction between day and night. At every moment, he was learning the 100 Lives Saber Principle and challenging it. Constantly dying, constantly resurrecting, constantly exploring, and constantly comprehending, Xiaofan had almost never rested. Fortunately, Xiaofan's soul and mental energy were too strong. Even if he didn't sleep or rest, he could still maintain his spirit-piercing rainbow state. And every time he killed a level 7 creature from different dimensions, Xiaofan could obtain the reverse nourishment of the refining power and perfect the 100 lives saber principle. Now, my saber Dao has reached a certain level of maturity. Xiaofan's lips curled into a satisfied smile. Although my realm has not improved, I have comprehended the 93rd move of the 100 lives saber principle, and the natal saber chi in my soul is getting stronger and stronger. More and more condensed. The saber principle technique. It is almost perfect. My combat power should be comparable to a level 6 genuine immortal. With one move, even a level 6 genuine immortal can be cut into pieces by me. TSK, Senior Ju Dao Immortal Emperor is worthy of being the third immortal emperor in the immortal world. The saber principle he created is unparalleled. Brilliant and brilliant. After mortals learn it, they can kill immortals. As he spoke, Xiaofan was already walking toward the next light door. However, Xiaofan did not know that not every ordinary person could learn the 100 lives saber Dao like Xiaofan. This was because Xiaofan's soul and mental energy were extremely strong. On top of that, he had already grasped the sword intent of the great accomplishment stage, and he also had the extraordinary foundation of the sword Qi Dragon. Hence, Xiaochun could not only learn but also perfectly control the 100-era saber Dao. 1 month later. Seal Martial Field. In front of Xiaofan stood a handsome man with his back straight like a spear. His eyes were sharp, and his expression was indifferent. His eyes displayed the birth and death of planes and the disintegration of planets. His entire body contained an extremely terrifying power. It was as if he could destroy an entire space with a single glance. Behind this man, there was also a tail. It was also a level 7-dimensional creature. This was also the last level 7-dimensional creature that Xiaofan was going to challenge. He had mastered the Absolute Saber Immortal Emperor's Saber Dao, the final move of the 100 lives Saber Dao. This guy is stronger than the previous 99 people. Xiaofan's heart tightened as he faced such a strong opponent. Oh! A disciple chosen by Master? The indifferent man's gaze focused on Xiaofan. In an instant, Xiaofan felt as if his heart had been pierced through. It was as if all of his secrets were as easy as flipping his palm in this fellow's eyes. Restrain your aura, Xiaofan immediately retorted. Don't forget the rules. I also know that you are all medium immortal emperors, and I am just a mortal. You can crush me with your aura alone. However, don't tell me you don't know the rules of this trial. Suppress your aura to the same level as mine. Oh. The indifferent man looked at Xiaofan with interest. Impressive. You really have a sharp tongue. You are a powerful person to be able to overcome all obstacles and arrive in front of me. Young man, you have already mastered the first 99 moves of the 100-era saber principle. It is really hard to imagine that a mere mortal like you has such talent and talent. The owner of the invincible saber is indeed extraordinary. Then, let's fight. As long as you can defeat me and master the 100th move of the 100-era saber principle, then your trial will end perfectly. It turned out that this man had mastered the last move of the 100-era saber principle. His name was Bai Shi. Bring it on. Xiaofan's body was filled with battle intent. Suddenly, after Bai Shi suppressed his cultivation level, he slashed out a saber ray that was close to the pinnacle of the universe saber principle. This saber ray was like the sun shining brightly. As soon as the saber ray appeared, everything in the world was left with light. Divine light. Pfft. Under this light ray, Xiaofan's entire body was obliterated into nothingness. The last move of the 100-era saber principle, 100-era, is the strongest killing move. It is not comparable to the previous 99 moves. Before Xiaohan's consciousness disappeared, Bai Shi's indifferent voice reached Xiaohan's ears. Damn, this move is really too strong, but I, Xiaohan, don't believe it. Xiaohan sat cross-legged and carefully recalled the trajectory and characteristics of this move. Again. Then, Xiaohan pushed the door open again. Just like that, Xiaohan repeatedly died, resurrected, imitated, and learned. After a total of 60 days, Xiaohan finally mastered this move, killing Bai Shi under the peerless saber ray. The top of the enclosed space where Xiaohan was standing suddenly opened, and endless purple vortexes began to roll. Ha 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 ha! Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's wild laughter resounded in the purple vortexes. Phew! Xiaohan withdrew his saber aura and straightened his back. He looked above his head, and a faint smile appeared on his face. He thought to himself. This is great. I've finally mastered all 100 moves of the 100-era saber principle, but... Xiaohan suddenly realized that after learning the 100-era saber principle, the inheritance jade plate in his dantian and the will restriction had been partially broken. However, there was still a portion left. It was still not broken. Moreover, the portion that could not be broken. Xiaohan realized that the most mysterious secret was hidden in it. Moreover, after learning the 100 moves of the 100-era saber principle, Xiaohan realized that this invincible saber technique seemed to be incomplete. There was still something missing. Simply put, this set of saber technique. Only one piece of the puzzle was missing. Only one piece was missing. All that was left was the finishing touch. Just when Xiaohan was having all kinds of doubts, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice was heard laughing. Great! Young man, you really did not let us down. You did not let this emperor down. You killed 100 mid-stage immortal emperors and learned 100 moves of the 100 lives saber Dao. Ha ha ha! You are officially the disciple of the invincible blade. You are also my only disciple in this world. Ha ha ha! Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice was full of unconcealable joy and gratification. As for Xiaohan, now, he also admired and was grateful to Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. Although Xiaohan had always been communicating with Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao, he was communicating with Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's divine soul. However, Xiaohan had also developed a master-disciple relationship with Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. Master. Xiaohan didn't hesitate for long and immediately called out. Disciple Xiaohan, thanks Master for your guidance. I will teach you everything I know. Hearing Xiaohan call him Master, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice became extremely excited. Good. Good disciple. Xiaohan. Yes. You are Master's good disciple. Ha 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 ha. I, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao, have such a good disciple. My disciple is unparalleled in the world. Ha 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 ha. Good disciple. Now, Master has some things to tell you. Listen carefully. Yes, Xiaohan said respectfully. Disciple, I'm sure you've noticed that the 100-era saber principle still has some imperfections, right? Yes, Master will tell you that you must enter the 4th level in order to obtain the true meaning of the last move of the 100-era saber principle. It is also the most important move. 100-era return to 1. Only after this move will the saber principle be greater success. Only with this move will you be able to completely refine the inheritance jade pendant in your body. You will be imbued with wisdom, and you will completely inherit my legacy. However, you can't enter the 4th level now. You must become an immortal before you can enter the 4th level and learn the soul of Master's saber principle. Oh. I must become an immortal. Xiaohan came to a sudden realization. Then, disciple, you can leave for now. You've learned the first 100 moves. With your combat power, you can even use the saber principle to kill a level 7 true immortal. There is no doubt about this, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao said proudly. Yes, I've been training for more than half a year. It's time for me to go home. Xiaofan smiled. Aha, as my only disciple, Master will give you some benefits now. Listen. First, you've already controlled 100 level 7 alternate dimension creatures as slaves. Each level 7 alternate dimension creature has combat power comparable to a medium immortal emperor. As for these 100 level 7 dimensional creatures, they are a secret of mine. Even those immortal emperors in the immortal world don't know that I have 100 of these slaves. Now, these slaves are disciples' secret weapon. Humph. With this power, even if you reach the immortal world, you can definitely do whatever you want. The only thing you're afraid of is the first and second old things. You don't have to worry about the other immortal emperors. Also, this planet of mine will be refined into your body and become a part of it. The Heavenly Earth Pouch, Monarch Slayer Saber, Linglong Pagoda, and Heavenly Fiend Clone, these 4 most precious treasures are now yours. However, disciple, you're immortal now. Before you become an immortal, you won't be able to refine these treasures. All the alternate dimension creatures in this training world will become your slaves. Red Trial Space, Level 1 alternate dimension creatures, countless in number, combat power equivalent to a Level 2 true immortal. Orange Trial Space, Level 2 alternate dimension creatures, metal lifeforms, countless in number, combat power equivalent to a Level 3 true immortal. Yellow Trial Space, Level 3 alternate dimension creatures, desert lifeforms, countless in number, combat power equivalent to a Level 4 true immortal. Green Trial Space, Level 4 alternate dimension creatures, devil gorillas, 30,000 in number, combat power equivalent to a Level 5 true immortal. Blue Trial Space, Level 5 alternate dimension creatures, ancient plant lifeforms, 20,000 in number, combat power equivalent to a Level 6 true immortal. Blue Trial Space, Level 6 alternate dimension creatures, marine lifeforms, 10,000 in number, combat power equivalent to a Level 7 true immortal. All of them will become your slaves. Also, all the immortal weapons and treasures that the other adventurers have yet to refine in their bodies will all be taken back by me. They will all belong to you. Once you become an immortal, you can slowly refine these immortal weapons and treasures. Now that you're immortal, there's no need to be greedy. All of these, are all mine. Xiaohan's heart skipped a beat when he heard Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's words. So many alternate dimension creatures, so many treasures, and 4 of the most powerful ones, were all his? It was too terrifying. Xiaofan almost suffocated. To be continued. Chapter 691. Xiaofan was completely submerged by this sudden wealth. He could not help himself at all. Leaving aside the Heaven-Earth Pouch, Monarch Executioner Saber, Exquisite Pagoda, and the Heavenly Demon Clan's Avatar, these were the top 4 Paragon mystic treasures in the immortal realm. There were countless other magic treasures of extremely high quality. After all, hundreds of thousands of immortals and mortals had entered the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove to explore. In fact, every mortal and immortal had obtained points and mystic treasures in the preliminaries, but those who chose to give up later had their mystic treasures destroyed. Similarly, after the end of the arena hegemony battles, the outstanding ones had a large number of immortal weapons and mystic treasures. For example, apart from Xiaohan, several immortals, including Jia Lanzi, had tens of thousands of mystic treasures. However, these mystic treasures had also disappeared when they exited the 3rd level before they could refine them. Now, Xiaohan knew that these immortal weapons and mystic treasures did not disappear into thin air. Instead, they were retrieved by Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. All the immortal weapons and mystic treasures that were retrieved belonged to Xiaohan. Now, they all belonged to Xiaohan. This left Xiaohan dumbfounded. Moreover, apart from mystic treasures, Xiaofan also had countless alternate dimensional beings. The weakest of these alternate dimensional beings were comparable to level 2 true immortals. There were even alternate dimensional beings with level 3, level 4, and even level 6 and level 7 true immortals. Now, Xiaofan could almost form an army of immortals. His most terrifying trump card was the 100 level 7 alternate dimensional beings. Combat power comparable to a medium immortal emperor, just the thought of it was enough to make one collapse. Heh! I've completely inherited Master Zhu Dao's legacy and wealth. Xiaofan was overjoyed. Looks like this is an adventure for training. So many mortals and immortals. Countless geniuses participated. The final winner is me, Xiaofan. Everyone else has become my sparring partner. Now, with the resources I control, even if I go to the immortal world, I can easily establish an extremely terrifying immortal world sect. Xiaofan also felt as if he was in a dream. Back then, he was a living target that was bullied and humiliated by others. Now, he had grown into a demon-like figure. At this moment, the third level of the trial world began to shake, and the entire Zhu Dao Immortal Emperor's treasure, that huge planet, also seemed to be wriggling violently. Why do I feel like I'm about to collapse? Xiaohan's heart skipped a beat. At that moment, Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's voice was heard once again. All right, my disciple, you can leave now. Master's planet will be refined into your body. This will allow you to control everything perfectly. When you become an immortal, you can enter the fourth level and undergo the final adventure to obtain the final inheritance of my sword Dao, which is also the most crucial part of the inheritance. Xiaofan calmed himself down and bowed respectfully after hearing Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's words. Master, disciple understands. The next moment, Xiaofan was sent flying by a huge force. Very soon, Xiaofan stood on the huge platform near the planet. He looked up and saw that the huge planet had begun to disintegrate into countless streams of light that directly shot into Xiaohan's knowledge sea. In an instant, these streams of light reassembled in Xiaohan's knowledge sea and condensed into the shape of a planet. Moreover, Xiaohan and this planet had established a mysterious relationship. It was a kind of flesh and blood connection, an inseparable connection. Oh! It seems that I have officially refined Master's planet lair. Xiaohan's heart flashed with a trace of enlightenment. At the same time, some information flashed through Xiaohan's mind. This information was very accurate. The number of magical treasures controlled is 5697665. Attack type. Defense type. Special type. Elixirs. Secret manuals. Rare materials. Weapons. There are all kinds of them. 4 of the most powerful magical treasures are also among them. However, my current mortal body is not able to refine these immortal treasures. Slaves, controlling 165547 level 1-dimensional creatures, their battle strength is equivalent to a level 2 true immortal, controlling 138977 level 2-dimensional creatures, their battle strength is equivalent to a level 3 true immortal, controlling 87655 level 3-dimensional creatures, the desert creatures. Their battle strength is equivalent to a level 4 true immortal, controlling 28676 level 4-dimensional creatures, the devil gorilla creatures, their battle strength is equivalent to a level 5 true immortal, controlling 17659 level 5-dimensional creatures, the ancient plant creatures, their battle strength is equivalent to a level 6 true immortal, controlling 10876 level 6-dimensional creatures, the sea creatures, their battle strength is equivalent to a level 7 true immortal, controlling 7-dimensional creatures, the universe's special long-tailed creatures. They can transform into human form, 100 of them, their battle strength is equivalent to a mid-level immortal emperor. Xiaohan was completely aware of his wealth. His wealth was comparable to a country's. I finally understand why Master's wealth is the greatest in the immortal world. Xiaofan's face was filled with shock and admiration. Back then, it was said that Master's wealth was equivalent to the total wealth of the entire immortal world combined. At that time, I didn't believe it, and thought it was an exaggeration. But today, it's not an exaggeration, it's not an exaggeration. Xiaofan was lost in thought for a moment, and then, slaves, come out. The next moment, boom. There was a huge tremor in the space. With Xiaofan as the center, a large area of space suddenly caved in. Caved in. Boundless pressure covered the heavens and covered the earth as it came. Beams of light that reached the sky burned in all directions. Clouds were rising. Densely packed creatures from the alternate dimension appeared on this platform. Leading them were naturally the 100 level 7-dimensional creatures with battle strength comparable to a mid-level immortal emperor. Hundreds of thousands of creatures from different dimensions stood in an orderly manner, like a well-trained army. Then, all of them knelt down on one knee. They roared and shouted. "Master!" Their voices shook the starry sky. Moreover, their aura. It was too tyrannical, especially the 100 level 7-dimensional creatures. The aura of an immortal emperor was released, and there was a terrifying feeling of collapsing the starry sky. If not for the extremely strong space barrier around immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's lair, this piece of starry sky would have been destroyed. Even so, the space in all directions had already begun to melt, and some of the planets were already disintegrating. Not good. The space is about to be completely destroyed by your aura. Xiaofan also shouted in his heart, and with a thought, he kept this group of terrifying slaves back into his sea of consciousness. Phew, this space almost melted. Xiaofan heaved a sigh of relief, and looked around. He found that the void was full of holes, like broken ice. It was about to crack. Seeing this, Xiaofan quickly and carefully moved his body. When Xiaofan's area just now, bang finally. Such a huge area was completely smashed into pieces. A large piece of space had become a black hole like an ancient giant beast. Xiaofan was watching from afar, and he clicked his tongue. Immediately, some thoughts surged into Xiaofan's mind. Too tyrannical, the aura of these dimensional creatures is too tyrannical. Just their aura alone can tear space apart. Unless they enter the immortal world, otherwise, it is almost impossible for me to release them in this mortal world. Xiaofan frowned. At this moment, an idea flashed into Xiaofan's mind. That's right. I can let these dimensional creatures cultivate the spirit turtle true qi. In this way, they can perfectly suppress the pressure of the immortal qi on them, and they can disguise as ordinary people at any time and anywhere. They can follow me. Even ordinary immortals will find it difficult to see through them immediately. Thinking of this, Xiaofan did not hesitate, and directly used his mind to look inside, and illuminated the solid spiritual power planet. On the solid spiritual power planet, those dimensional creatures worship devoutly, releasing their faith and will of submission. He wanted to use his mind to communicate with these dimensional creatures, and directly tell them the cultivation method of the spirit turtle true qi. Then, one by one, the dimensional creatures, led by the 100 level, 7-dimensional creatures, began to cultivate seriously. I also want to comprehend the saber technique I learned, the 100 lives saber Dao. Xiaofan also took the opportunity to sit cross-legged in the void. In an instant, rays of saber light were released from Xiaofan's pores, and coiled around Xiaofan like a coiling dragon. Around Xiaofan, the lingering charm of the saber qi bloomed into wondrous flowers, swaying gracefully. As the flowers swayed, they produced a strange rhythm, as if someone was wielding a saber, performing a saber technique that was compatible with the way of the saber. Currently, in terms of the way of the saber alone, Xiaofan had already reached the apex of the universe, regardless of cultivation level. Even in the immortal's world, he would definitely be at the highest level, only second to immortal Emperor Zhu Dao in the past. If Xiaofan entered the fourth layer and absorbed the last part of the essence of the way of the saber, he would be able to match the strength of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao in the past. Those dimensional creatures were all geniuses. Cultivating the spirit turtle true chi was a piece of cake for them, and they could learn and control it. Moreover, the energy on them was no different from immortal chi, far superior to true chi. The spirit turtle true chi they used this energy to power up their concealment ability was even more powerful. In just 3 days, all the dimensional creatures could use the spirit turtle true chi to conceal their presence perfectly. During these 3 days, Xiaofan also gained a deeper understanding of the 100 Lives Saber Dao. All of you, come out. With a single thought from Xiaofan, all the creatures from the alternate dimension appeared again. They stood in formation. Then they knelt on one knee. Master. This time, under the concealment of the spirit turtle true chi, their presence no longer shattered the space. Every single one of them was gentle, very harmonious with the space. Good, very good. Xiaofan nodded in satisfaction. Master, thank you, Master, for passing the trial and allowing us to regain our freedom. The 100-level, 7-dimensional creatures revealed joyful expressions. The eyes of the most powerful, Baisher, shone brightly. Master, I heard that the previous master, the master of the invincible saber, was at odds with some immortal emperors in the immortals world. Now, why don't we kill our way to the immortals world and demand an explanation for the master of the invincible saber? With your current strength, Master, you can do whatever you want in the immortals world. Going to the immortals world is a must, but now is not the time, Xiaofan said with a smile. Let's go. Follow me to my mortal plane first. Yes. Master. Whoosh, 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 with a thought, Xiaofan absorbed all the creatures from the alternate dimension into his sea of consciousness. Then, Xiaofan directly flew towards his own plane. Home. I'm finally going home. Ha 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 ha. Xiaofan was so excited at the thought of his own plane and going home that he could hardly control himself. I wonder if the sect leader and the others have become immortals. And how are my wife and sons doing? Ha ha ha. If the sect leader knew that I completed the trial perfectly and obtained so many powerful slaves, would he be shocked? Hee, immortal emperor-level slaves. Let alone the sect leader, even Brother Jialan and the others would be shocked speechless, wouldn't they? Ha 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 ha. Xiaohan's plane. Jun Linzi led 80-level, 6 true immortals and relied on a special celestial artifact to successfully blend into the masses of people in this plane. They had already stayed in this plane for several months. Xiaofan still did not return. This made them extremely anxious. Senior brother Jun Linzi, why hasn't Xiaofan returned yet? Humph. It's so boring for a group of immortals like us to wait for a mortal here. Why don't we capture all the lowly mortals in Xiaohan's plane first? Said an immortal grimacing. Don't be hasty. Jun Linzi's lips curled into a sinister smile as he looked in the direction of the Wuxia pagoda. When a man achieves the Tao, his chickens and dogs also rise to heaven. Some of the mortals in this plane seem to have obtained great immortal fortune because of Xiaofan. In the near future, a group of mortals will condense immortal clouds and ascend. But... After a pause, Jun Linzi's voice turned sinister. You want to become an immortal under my watch? That's wishful thinking. To be continued. Chapter 692. Xiaohan's Dimension. An extremely strange phenomenon was happening in Xiaohan's dimension. With the Wuxia pagoda as the center, countless heaven and earth essence chi was gathering. Clouds moved in all directions. In the beginning, only the heaven and earth essence chi of this dimension gathered toward the Wuxia pagoda. Later, countless spiritual chi from all directions of this dimension also swarmed over. Following that, beams of light descended from the sky. They descended near the Wuxia pagoda in Xiaohan's dimension. The entire Wuxia pagoda was completely enveloped by thick spiritual qi and became all kinds of auspicious beasts. Flowers fell from the sky and golden lotuses appeared on the ground. Subconsciously, some poems of praise began to be sung. The mortals of this dimension did not understand what was going on. Moreover, they were shocked by such a phenomenon. They seemed to have a premonition that something rare and great was about to happen in this dimension. The ordinary people of this dimension, the east, south, west, and north regions, as well as the great wilderness, began to burn incense and place offerings on the tables. They began to kneel and pray to the heavens. And the martial artists and heroes of the Wuxia region seemed to understand something, a strange phenomenon from the heavens. A strange phenomenon from the heavens. It's an auspicious sign. Something big is going to happen in our dimension. I heard that sect Master Wu of the Pure Cloud sect and many elders of the Wuxia pagoda are cultivating in seclusion. They are going to break through to the immortal realm. It seems that they are going to succeed. Oh my God! Unbelievable! Someone in our dimension is going to ascend to the heavens. This is something that I've never even dreamed of. In my lifetime. A martial artist who can see our dimension. Ascending to the heavens. Even if I die immediately, my life will not be in vain. In the end, the entire Wuxia region was bathed in thick spiritual qi. It was an auspicious sign. Inside the Wuxia pagoda. In the secret chamber. In dozens of secret chambers, there were people cultivating at this moment. In the secret chamber where Wu Yu was. Wu Yu sat cross-legged, exuding a mysterious aura. His entire spirit and aura. It was like a brand new person. I sensed it. I sensed it. Suddenly, Wu Yu opened his eyes, which were as bright as stars. I've finally comprehended the immortal world beyond the 9 heavens. Immortal ascension. It was no longer wishful thinking. It's real. Wu Yu's gaze shifted. In 3 days, I will face my immortal tribulation. Crow was very clear about this. After that, he flipped his right hand, and a celestial artifact appeared in his hand. While exploring Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure, I refined and controlled an immortal treasure. It's very compatible with my soul and temperament. I rely on this celestial artifact. Transcending the immortal tribulation shouldn't be a problem. Then, he took out the evil hero token and sent a voice transmission to the people in the other secret rooms. Everyone should have sensed the arrival of the immortal tribulation. This time, we have gone through life and death experiences and the competition with the immortals. Our minds have been sharpened to the fullest. In a few days, we will undergo the immortal tribulation. Everyone has a celestial artifact. With the protection of the celestial artifact, it should not be a problem for us to pass the immortal tribulation. In the other secret chambers, Xiao Mingchu, Yen Lang, Fang Ling, and the others were all in the same state as Wu Li. They were all certain that their immortal tribulations would arrive in 3 days. Excited. Tremble. Excitement. Looking forward to it. Indescribable. Uncontrollable. The ultimate goal of anyone who cultivated the martial Tao was to become an immortal and seek eternal life. However, only 1 in a billion mortals could become an immortal. To become an immortal was like accomplishing a lifelong dream. They could die without regrets. Moreover, everyone was very confident in transcending the immortal realm this time. It should be noted that in ancient times, the mortals who became immortals relied on their bodies and true qi to withstand the immortal tribulation. They did not have celestial artifacts. However, Wu Li and the others had celestial artifacts. Using celestial artifacts to transcend the immortal tribulation meant that they had a 90% chance of success. In a city near the evil hero domain. In an elegant courtyard. Jun Linzi and many level 6 true immortals sat leisurely in a pavilion in the courtyard, sipping tea. Ha ha ha. Jun Linzi looked in the direction of the evil hero pagoda with a malicious gaze. If I'm not mistaken, in 3 days at the latest, some ants in this plane will face the immortal tribulation. TSK, at least 10 of them will undergo the immortal tribulation at the same time. Ha ha ha, damn it. They must have benefited from immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. Otherwise, how could mortals become immortals so easily? Some level 6 true immortals grimaced. Humph. Transcending the immortal tribulation? With me here, that's impossible. This plane has Xiaofan, and he's our target. It's very important, so the mortals in his plane are not qualified to become immortals. Jun Linzi said sinisterly. That's right. We can't let these puny mortals become immortals. Dozens of level 6 true immortals echoed. Humph. I'm a level 7 true immortal. I can shatter countless planes like this with a flip of my hand. It'll be a piece of cake for me to stop a bunch of mortals from becoming immortals. Jun Linzi's expression changed. A crafty plot was brewing in his eyes. 3 days later, something strange happened again. All the spiritual chi of heaven and earth gathered into the shape of clouds above the evil hero pagoda. Dozens of immortal clouds spread out at once. Each cloud contained a strong aura of energy. Furthermore, every cloud seemed to have formed a connection with a supreme space in the unseen world. It was as if each cloud was a space-time wormhole. Boom! 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 The immortal clouds moved. The energy inside the immortal clouds began to transform. The spiritual chi of heaven and earth was transformed into immortal chi. Moreover, there were countless intertwining thunderbolts. These thunderbolts seemed like they were going to combine into beams of light and strike down at any time. Inside the evil hero pagoda. The tribulation cloud. Our tribulation cloud is here. Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, and the others. Their hearts were pounding. The next moment, boom! 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 Wu Yu, Xiao Mingchu, Fang Ling, Yen Lang, and the others flew out of the secret chamber of the evil hero pagoda. They were all hovering in the air. Dozens of mortals were sitting cross-legged. Hong hong hong, dozens of immortal clouds spread out in the sky, covering the heads of Wu Yu and the other mortals. A cloud of immortal clouds appeared above them. Thunderbolts intertwined. Dense immortal chi. The immortal chi began to merge with the thunderbolts. Everyone. Soon, our immortal tribulation will descend. These thunderbolts will contain extremely pure immortal chi. When they attack us, they will kill us. Once we withstand the thunderbolts, the immortal chi in the thunderbolts will spread into our bodies and turn our true chi into immortal chi. It transformed into immortal chi. Therefore, we will be able to open a passage and enter the immortal realm. Similarly, if we can't withstand the thunderbolts' attacks, we will be turned into ashes. Wu Yu roared. However, we all have immortal artifacts. It shouldn't be a problem for us to withstand the thunderbolts' attacks. I wish everyone good luck. You'll be able to successfully pass the tribulation. As he spoke, Crow's gaze also looked towards the distant void space, and he murmured. Xiaofan, we didn't expect the immortal tribulation to come so soon. We can't wait for your return. However, I believe that you can successfully complete the trial and return to your hometown. Then, we'll wait for you in the immortal realm. In a city near the evil hero region. Jun Linzi and the other immortals stood on a tall mountain and looked at the tribulation clouds above the evil hero pagoda mockingly. Heh! How naive! Jun Linzi sneered. Later, when they succeed in their immortal tribulation, we'll cut off their connection with the immortal realm. Not only will they fail to pass the immortal tribulation, but they'll also be severely injured. Good. Senior brother Jun Linzi, let's cut off their connection with the immortal realm. The level 6 true immortals laughed. This is an extremely simple and easy matter, ha 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 ha, evil hero region. Dozens of immortal clouds were wriggling violently. Finally, the immortal cloud above Wu Yu's head attacked first. Poof, a bolt of lightning, as thick as a flood dragon, directly struck down from the clouds. It struck at Wu Yu. The thunderbolt contained the flawless energy of immortal chi like a gem. Come on! Wu Yu roared and activated his true chi. He raised a token-shaped immortal artifact in his right hand. Bang! Thunder and lightning directly poured over Blackbird's body. Roar! Wu Li uttered a painful cry. However, he clenched his teeth and endured the pain. With a thought, the immortal weapon in his hand emitted a brilliant glow that encapsulated his figure and healed the damage that the tear had inflicted on his body. Then, poof, 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 thunderbolts struck down from every immortal cloud, aiming at Xiao Mingqiu, Dongfang Qin, Yen Lang, and the others. Tribulation Transcendence. Everyone's spirits were roused, and they were completely focused. They even took out their immortal artifacts. Now, dozens of mortals who were undergoing tribulation transcendence were wrapped in thunderbolts. Moreover, the thunderbolts in the immortal clouds were still attacking them. They relied on their bodies and true chi to resist the thunderbolts while activating their immortal artifacts to help. As the lightning intertwined with their bodies, glittering, resplendent immortal chi continued to pour into their bodies, transforming them and transforming their true energy. Gradually, the true chi emitted from Wu Yu and the others also gained the charm of immortal chi. Hold on. Wu Yu raised the immortal artifact high and stood up. He was bathed in thunderbolts and immortal chi. His body turned from plain to brilliant, and his mortal body began to shine. Luckily, I have this immortal artifact to support me through this tribulation. My internal organs are all being refined and reborn. Wu Yu heaved a sigh of relief. Crow heaved a sigh of relief. He knew that he was about to pass the immortal tribulation. All of the mortals on the plain were kneeling, kowtowing, and kowtowing. On Jun Linzi's side. Let's do it. Jun Linzi smiled coldly. His eyes were filled with cruelty. In the vast space of the universe. Ha ha ha. My speed is much faster than before. When I move, it's almost like teleportation. I'll be home soon. Ha 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 ha. Xiaofan's heart was set on returning home. His body turned into a ray of light as he headed towards his hometown. Xiaofan's heart was filled with joy. To be continued. Chapter 693. Wu Li and the other mortals were now undergoing the immortal tribulation. After returning from the second level of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure trove, they had completed the metamorphosis of their souls and developed the immortal heart. It was inevitable that they would face the immortal tribulation. Moreover, they had immortal weapons in their hands. Although they were low-quality immortal weapons, they were still genuine. Therefore, it was not difficult for them to undergo the immortal tribulation. It was definitely a daunting experience. Everything was developing in the most perfect direction. Among the immortal clouds, monstrous immortal chi was brewing. Mixed with the lightning, it bombarded the bodies of Wu Li and the others. Then, Wu Li and the others forcibly withstood the lightning attacks. The immortal chi contained in the lightning seeped into the pores of Wu Li and the others, seeped into their internal organs, and began to refine them. Even their bones were refined and polished until they were sharp and flawless. Their bones gradually turned into jade, and immortal runes and all kinds of characters were carved on them. In fact, even his internal organs and meridians had undergone a transformation, becoming pure and clean. Gradually, the seemingly powerful lightning attacks had become sacred medicines that nourished the bodies of Wu Li and the others. Moreover, the lightning attacks from the immortal clouds were getting weaker and weaker. Every immortal cloud had a feeling that it was about to be emptied. Roar! Wu Li rose from the ground, his whole body shining with immortal light. As his clothes fluttered, he had the demeanor of an immortal. His whole body flickered with lightning as he shouted. "Everyone, work harder. We are about to succeed and pass this immortal tribulation." As he spoke, dozens of mortals all stood up. At this moment, poof poof poof, the immortal clouds finally stopped emitting lightning. Inside each immortal cloud, they began to wriggle. A mirror-like scene appeared. In the mirror, an extremely vast and beautiful world appeared. There were majestic divine mountains, palaces in the sky, and countless primordial descendants there. It was magnificent and picturesque. It was billions of times better than the mortal world. It's the immortal realm. I can see the immortal realm. Wu Li was so excited that he could not control himself and knelt on the ground. He howled at the sky. I didn't expect that I, the Wu Kingdom, would have such a day. Other than Wu, Xiao Mingchu, Yan Lang, Dongfang Qin, and dozens of mortals all knelt down. Hong hong hong, in the next moment, a space-time wormhole appeared in every single immortal cloud, and slowly descended. It was about to descend upon this group of mortals and transport them to the immortal world. In all directions, the multicolored light shone brilliantly. Ascension. He was about to ascend and become an immortal. All the mortals in the plane fell to their knees. Touched. Shocking. Shocking. Tears streamed down his cheeks. In a city near the Wuxia region, Jun Linzi and the other high-level immortals were standing on the mountain. Ha 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 ha, how naive. These guys must be going crazy right now, right? Jun Linzi let out a sharp mocking laugh. These lowly mortals think that their lives have reached the most intense moment, that their chickens and dogs are about to ascend to heaven. Ha ha ha. Really? In reality, it's the exact opposite. This will be their most miserable, most painful, most despairing moment. Attack. Cut off the connection between these immortals and the immortal realm, and make them fail at the last step. As soon as he finished speaking, Jun Linzi waved his right hand, and a space-time ripple suddenly appeared. With the speed of teleportation, it directly slashed at the Wuxia region. Whoosh whoosh whoosh, a large group of level 6 true immortals standing next to Jun Linzi created space-time ripples. Wuxia region. A space-time wormhole appeared in every immortal cloud, and descended upon Wu Li and the others. Like ropes, they pulled Wu Li and the others into the air and floated toward the immortal clouds. Finally, Wu Li and Xiao Mingchu looked at each other and smiled. Right now, all of their bodies were emitting gemstone-like radiance. They were imposing and outstanding. Their mortal bodies had already transformed into immortal bodies. Ha ha ha, I think junior brother Xiaofan will come up to meet us soon. After we become immortals, we must try our best to help other talented mortals in our plane. Dongfang Qin laughed. However, at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Clang clang clang, waves of space-time ripples directly slashed at the space-time wormhole that was guiding Wu Li and the others to ascend. Puff. 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 The space-time wormhole was directly cut off by waves of terrifying and mysterious power. The immortal clouds disappeared one by one. Just like that, Wu Li and the others were greatly shocked. The jade-colored treasure light emitted from their bodies suddenly dimmed, and they didn't even have time to react. Puff, 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 blood spurted from their mouths, their faces were as pale as paper, and their bodies directly fell down. The Wuxia region, which was originally full of strange phenomena, instantly became as still as water, and all the strange phenomena disappeared without a trace. Many Wuxia who were watching the ceremony below had no idea what had happened. A few Wuxia who saw the opportunity quickly released their true qi and wrapped Wu Li and the others who had fallen down. What's going on? Elders? Sect leader Wu? Master Yan Lang? What? What's going on? On June Lindsay's side. Ha 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 ha, a large group of immortals looked at each other and laughed wildly. Alright, these guys are now suffering from the backlash of the laws of heaven and earth. Although they won't die. But they will be crippled for life. Ha ha ha. Yes. This is just a small interlude. Alright, let's all disperse. June Lindsay waved his hand. This matter has come to an end. There's no need to pay any more attention to it. Let's hide our auras and continue to wait. Let's wait for Xiaofan to return. 3 days later. Wuxia region. The entire Wuxia region was completely bathed in an extremely sad atmosphere. When Wu Yi and the others were going through their tribulations, something suddenly happened. Now, all of the mortals were lying on their sickbeds. Although they were still breathing, they were unable to move. Although they were still breathing, they had fallen into a deep coma and could not wake up. All the people in this dimension who were good at the medicine Dao came to treat them. However, they could not find the cause of Wu Li and the others' illnesses. They could not do anything at all. On the top floor of the Wuxia pagoda, dozens of jade beds were lined up. Wu Li, Xiao Mingchu, Fang Ling, and the others were lying on them. All of them had their eyes closed and their faces as pale as paper. If it were not for their intermittent breathing, they would really be no different from the dead. What should we do? Why did things suddenly take a turn for the worse? The elites of our dimension were just one step away from becoming immortals. Why did they suddenly fail? And now, all of them are extremely weak. And there's no cure. This. Extreme joy begets sorrow. If sect leader Wu and the others can't wake up, our dimension will go from prosperity to decline. No. We must find a way to save sect leader Wu and the others. Leader Xiaofan. In the current situation, I'm afraid only leader Xiaofan can use his heaven-defying means to bring the dead back to life. I wonder where leader Xiaofan is now. In the chivalrous man domain, countless chivalrous men began to discuss. Now, they all felt powerless. Deep in their hearts, they were extremely eager for Xiaofan to return to the dimension immediately. Turning the tide. On the 7th day of Wu Li and the others' coma. Now, not only the Wuxia region, even the entire dimension fell into a state of panic and despair. It was simply a wailing wilderness. On the 15th day of Wu Li and the others' coma. Such a huge dimension was simply lifeless. Just when Xiaohan's dimension fell into a state of complete despair, swoosh, at this moment, Xiaohan's body was completely like a flowing light, shuttling through the universe space. Xiaofan was eager to return. I want to return to the dimension immediately. Hehe, I have a hunch that after the tempering, the sect leader and the others will be able to usher in their immortal tribulation soon. I want to see them before they succeed and celebrate with them. Xiaofan flew day and night to go home. Finally, a dimension with green mountains and clear waters first appeared in the scanning range of Xiaohan's soul and spiritual fluctuations. I'm home. My spiritual fluctuations have already seen my hometown. Ha 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 ha. Xiaofan fell into a state of ecstasy. Then, his figure speed suddenly accelerated. Swoosh, with a flash of flowing light, almost teleporting, Xiaofan had already set foot on the dimension. At present, Xiaofan was in a piece of green land in the great wilderness. Awesome! Xiaofan closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and savored the smell of his hometown. The feeling of a wanderer returning to his hometown became stronger and stronger. I've been away for a long time, and I'm finally home. Go straight to the Wuxia Tower. Xiaofan did not stay, and his figure flickered like a flowing light. However, Xiaofan also concealed his entire aura. He was very low-key and did not show off at all. I'll go to the Wuxia Tower first, then return to the Pure Cloud sect to reunite with my wife and son. Xiaofan was very happy. However, on the way to the Wuxia tower, Xiaofan also smelled something wrong. What's going on? What happened to the dimension? There's a sense of desolation and dilapidation everywhere. Even the air exudes an ominous feeling. It's as if the dimension has just suffered a catastrophe. Could it be that people from other dimensions have attacked my dimension? Or... Suddenly, Xiaohan's expression was solemn. Is there an immortal who wants to take revenge on me because he's jealous of my opportunity in the invincible Saber Master's treasure? So he wants to take revenge on my dimension? The more Xiaofan thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Return to the Wuxia tower immediately. Xiaohan's figure speed was even faster. Not long after, the Wuxia domain appeared in Xiaohan's vision. To be continued. Chapter 694. Xiaofan hurried and finally arrived at the Devil Hero domain. Ibdu. Along the way, Xiaofan felt that something was wrong. It was very strange. It was very desolate along the way, and sad songs could be heard everywhere. The passers-by were all frowning. This was a big problem. One must know that because of Xiaohan's heaven-defying rise, many elites of the Crow army and the Wuxia pagoda had ascended. This plane had long been reorganized and was almost the #1 plane in the mortal world. In this plane, there should be birds and flowers everywhere, and people should be smiling happily. There would definitely not be such a desolate scene. People were panicking. Something big must have happened. Xiaofan flew directly into the Devil Hero pagoda. Inside the Devil Hero pagoda, Leader Xiaofan is back. We're saved. Our plane is saved. That's great. We've survived a desperate situation. In the Devil Hero pagoda, countless devil heroes burst into thunderous roars after seeing Xiaofan. The devil heroes all looked as if they had been pardoned by the emperor, as if they had survived a disaster. What's going on? Where are the elders of the Devil Hero pagoda? Where are Sect Master Wu and eldest senior brother Xiao Mingchu of the Pure Cloud sect? Xiaofan asked directly. Leader Xiaofan, something happened. Something big has happened. An eloquent swordsman said concisely. Leader Xiaofan, the elders, Sect Master Wu, Master Yen Lang, and the others followed you to explore Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's treasure. After returning, they comprehended the immortal fate and cultivated in seclusion, seeking to ascend. Everything was extremely smooth. Half a month ago, the elders, Sect Master Wu, and the others welcomed the immortal tribulation. They had immortal artifacts in their hands. The tribulation was extremely successful. They had already opened the passage to the immortal realm. They were about to ascend. Huh? Xiaohan's eyes focused and he hurriedly said, what happened then? At the critical moment, suddenly, there seemed to be a mysterious power that suddenly appeared and cut off the connection between the elders and Sect Master Wu and the others. Instantly, the elders, Sect Master Wu, and the others fell to the mortal world. Fallen to the mortal world? Xiaofan raised his eyebrows. That's right. Right now, Elder, Sect Leader Wu, and the others are in a deep slumber, their breathing is extremely weak, there's no medicine that can cure them. The demons lowered their heads sadly. What? Xiaofan jumped up in shock. On the top floor of the Wuxia pagoda, Xiaofan finally saw dozens of people lined up on the jade bed. Sect leader. Eldest senior brother, Xiaofan cried out in shock. He quickly snatched it over. Wu Yu and the others had their eyes tightly shut, and their faces were as pale as dead people. Her skin was cold to the touch, and at first glance, it seemed to be completely lifeless. What's going on? Xiaofan was enraged. The power of the soul and mind. When it entered the bodies of Wu Yu and the others, it discovered that their bodies were like pools of stagnant water. No chance of survival. He only has one breath left. Xiaofan was dejected. Leader Xiaofan, don't be impatient. Calm down. Some of the experienced and prudent demons beside him hurriedly consoled him. Right now, the most important thing is to figure out what exactly happened to Elder Wu and Sect Master Wu. Mo Wuji muttered to himself. Quiet. I can't panic. At this time, I can't panic. Xiaofan kept reminding himself in his heart. After taking a few deep breaths, the solid mind power star in his sea of consciousness squirmed a few times, emitting waves of cool and carefree concept that invaded Xiaofan's lungs, causing Xiaofan to calm down his furious thoughts. Could it be that the sect leader and the others did not pass through the immortal tribulation at the critical moment of their ascension and failed, resulting in the current situation? Xiaofan began to think, but that's not right. If they failed to pass through the tribulation, they would have directly turned into ashes. It's impossible. The demons at the side all held their breaths, not daring to disturb Xiaofan's thoughts. However, although Xiaofan had quite a few fortuitous encounters, it was still the knowledge of mortals after all. It was difficult to understand what had happened to Wu Yu and the others. At this moment, that's right, it should be extremely easy to figure out this matter. A light flashed in Xiaofan's mind, and with a slight thought, suddenly. Boom! A strong and domineering aura descended out of nowhere. What? What is this? The demons standing beside Xiaofan were all frightened out of their wits by this aura. They could not help but step back, as if they wanted to immediately kneel down in worship. Don't panic, Xiaofan said. In the next moment, a handsome man with an indifferent expression appeared beside Xiaofan. By sure. This was the strongest existence among the level 7 creatures from the alternate dimension who had mastered the 100th move of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's 100 Lives Saber Dao. At this time, Bai Shirley had used the spirit turtle True Qi to conceal the aura of his entire body. Even the tail behind him was hidden, making him look like an ordinary person. However, golden light occasionally bloomed in his eyes. Even when he stood there casually, even with all his aura sealed, he still gave off a sense of oppression like that of an ancient divine mountain. This is... The demons at the side completely broke down. They did not even dare to look at Bai Shir. They subconsciously had a feeling that this guy in front of them could stir up a terrible disaster in the world at any time. He could destroy the world. This was purely a feeling. And what happened next made these demons even more dumbfounded. Master. I wonder what orders you have for summoning Bai Shir. Bai Shir actually knelt on one knee in front of Xiaofan. He kept calling Xiaofan Master. Well. Bai Shir, you don't have to kneel, Xiaofan said indifferently. Thank you, Master. Bai Shir immediately stood up. The demons at the side were all dumbfounded. Bai Shir, the people lying here are all my close friends. Xiaofan told Bai Shir everything that had happened. Bai Shir, your realm is very high. What do you think of this matter? Something went wrong during the heavenly tribulation? Bai Shir frowned slightly. Then. His eyes were like lightning. It directly shrouded the sleeping Wu Li and the others. In just a breath's time, Bai Shir withdrew his gaze and could not help but nod. Bai Shir, what happened? You should know the whole story, Xiaofan asked anxiously. Can my close friends and family be saved? Xiaofan knew very well that once Wu Li and the others died, they would not be able to turn the situation around. They could only live like the living dead, living a life worse than death. Then, their souls would be greatly damaged. One should know that the relationship between Wu Li, Xiao Mingchu, and the others and Xiaofan was not as simple as being from the same sect. They must have been schemed against, Bai Shir said with certainty. Schemed against? Xiaofan's gaze was as sharp as a knife, and his expression became cold. Bai Shir. What the hell is going on? Tell me in detail. Don't leave anything out. Yes, Master. Bai Shi nodded slightly. Then he said, "If I'm not wrong, Master, your close friends had no problem crossing the immortal realm. It was a matter of time before they became immortals. However, at the crucial moment, during their ascension, someone cut off their connection with the immortal realm, causing their efforts to be in vain. Not only did they not become immortals smoothly, but they also suffered from the backlash of the origin law of heaven and earth, which destroyed their vitality." What? Someone schemed against the sect master and the others. Xiaofan absolutely believed in Bai Shi's analysis. After all, a mid-level immortal emperor's foresight was not something that mortals could doubt. Hearing that Wu Li and the others had been schemed against, Xiaofan was completely enraged. If no one attacked at the crucial moment, then your close friends would have become immortals by now. Bai Shi nodded affirmatively, then said in a low voice, "The person who ambushed them should be a high-level perfected immortal. Otherwise, they would not have been able to cut off the space-time wormhole leading to the immortal realm so easily." Roar! Damn it! The sect master and the senior brother's greatest hope in their lives was to become immortals. For this, they were willing to risk their lives in the invincible saber master's treasure. They had honed their will and accumulated their resources. They were about to achieve success and ascend to the heavens in a single step. Who knew that there would be a traitor who would sneak up on them, causing all their hopes and dreams to be lost? Damn it! Damn it! Xiaofan was furious. "Master, please calm down," Bai Shi quickly said. Xiaofan's emotions were in turmoil, and he could not control himself. Bai Shi placed his right hand on Xiaofan's shoulder, and a warm stream of air rushed into Xiaofan's body. Xiaofan regained his composure. However, his heart was still filled with murderous intent. He wanted nothing more than to destroy everything. Moreover, Xiaofan knew that Wu Li and the others would not have offended a super expert. It must be because he had offended the interests of a certain expert, and that was why he had taken his anger out on Wu Li and the others. He had implicated the fish in the moat. "It's all because of me that the sect master and the others are in trouble." Xiaofan cursed. He clenched his fists, and the veins on the back of his hands bulged like angry snakes. "Bai Shi, are you saying that a high-level immortal snuck into my realm, and then plotted against the sect master and the others when they were about to ascend to the immortal realm?" Xiaofan said, enunciating each word. "That should be the case." Bai Shi nodded. "It should be the work of an immortal." Xiaofan had calmed down, and his calmness contained a storm. "It's an immortal, and he's at least a level 5 perfected immortal." Bai Shi was certain. A level 5 perfected immortal? Good, very good. Xiaofan's pupils contracted. If a level 5 perfected immortal or above has descended and lurked in my realm, it means that there's at least an immortal emperor up there, and they're about to make a move against me. Hehe, that's right. The heavenly demon pouch, the exquisite pagoda, the sky demon clan's clone, the monarch slayer, even immortal emperors would covet these supreme treasures, but they dare to attack my close friends and family, so what if they're immortal emperors? I, Xiaofan, don't mind fighting you. Now that he had inherited immortal emperor Zhu Dao's Dao of the Blade, Xiaofan's state of mind was completely overflowing with dominance. Even if he knew that his opponent was a peerless immortal emperor, he was not afraid. "Master," Bai Shi's eyes became sharp and filled with a kind of lawless spirit. "Master, let us go. We'll definitely assist you with our lives." "Immortal Emperor? Humph. Kill them all the same." "Alright, let's not talk about that for now. Bai Shi, do you have a way to save my close friends and family?" Xiaofan asked. To be continued. Chapter 695. Bai Shi, you have the strength of an intermediate-level celestial emperor. I think you should have a way to wake up my family and friends. Xiaofan looked at Bai Shi with hope in his eyes. When the other heroes heard the words intermediate-level celestial emperor, their eyes rolled back and they fainted from fright. This. Baisher smiled self-deprecatingly. Master, I don't have a way to save them, but I'm proficient in medicine. Good. 87 Sure, come out. Xiaofan's mind jolted. Boom. Another violent aura descended. In the next moment, a gentle, beautiful, and graceful young woman appeared beside Xiaofan. The 87th Sure had mastered the 87th move of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao's 100 Lives Saber Dao. He had the terrifying combat strength of an intermediate-level Celestial Emperor. At this moment, the 87th Sure sealed his aura and retracted his tail. He looked like a gentle and virtuous young woman, but in the depths of his eye sockets, there were vortexes of energy that resembled a cosmic storm. Greetings, Master. The 87th Sure knelt down. There's no need for formalities. Xiaofan hurriedly waved his hand and told him what had happened to Wu Yu and the others. After a pause, Xiaofan said in a commanding tone, 87 Sure, you must do everything you can to wake up my family and friends. Master, when you were undergoing your celestial tribulation, someone ambushed you and forcibly cut off the space-time wormhole leading to the celestial realm. You suffered a backlash from the laws of heaven and earth and lost your life. I've encountered this situation before. The 87th Sure looked at Xiaofan. How is it? Xiaofan was shocked to the core. He can be saved. The 87th King nodded with great confidence. However, after a pause, she said again. But, after they wake up, their cultivation base will be crippled. What? After they wake up, they'll only be crippled? Xiaofan was shocked. How could this be? My sect leader and the others have cultivated hard all their lives and reached the peak of the true Qi realm of mortals. Now, they have to face the tragic situation of falling to the mortal world and becoming a cripple. This. Xiaofan was filled with indignation. He could not accept this cruel reality. Master. The 87th Sure hurriedly comforted her. Master, you don't have to be like this. There's a special plant in the celestial world. If you can find this special immortal herb, you'll be able to restore the cultivation of your close friends and family to their previous state. Not only that, but they'll also be reborn. Oh. Xiaofan shuddered. Yes. That's right. The 87th King nodded. However, this kind of special immortal herb definitely doesn't exist in the mortal world. It only grows in some special areas in the immortal world. Master, given your current cultivation base and temperament, becoming an immortal is a very difficult task. It's nothing. Baisher tried to comfort him. After Master becomes an immortal, he will reach the immortal world. We can help Master find the special immortal herb mentioned by the 87th generation, Baisher said. Now that things have come to this, we can only do so. Fortunately, things have taken a turn for the better. Xiaofan finally heaved a sigh of relief. After all, Wu Bai and the others could still be saved. After pausing for a moment, Xiaofan instructed again. Let's do it this way. 87th generation, please wake up my close friends first. Understood, the 87th King said respectfully. Master, please give me 7 days. Okay. Xiaofan nodded. Then, he left this secret room to the 87th generation and let him carefully treat them. Then, Xiaofan left the secret room with Baisher. Wuxia Tower. In a lounge on the middle floor. Xiaofan sat on a wooden chair, and Baisher stood behind him. Master. A cruel killing intent flashed in Baisher's eyes. Now, it's time to find those immortals who are hiding in this plane and secretly causing trouble. Kill them directly. The corner of Xiaofan's mouth also pulled into a cruel smile. If it's against me, Xiaofan, it's nothing, but to secretly attack my sect master and the others. This has already touched my bottom line. True immortals above level 5? This time, I want them to come here but not return. Ha ha ha. I can kill immortals, I'm so happy. Baishir stuck out his tongue and licked his lips. Master, what should I do? Xiaofan rubbed his temples with both hands. It seems that those hidden immortals have come to this plane a long time ago. They have been waiting for me to come back and capture me in one fell swoop. Well, I'll release my life aura now and let them know that I, Xiaofan, have returned. Then, I'll search for them with my soul and mental strength and find them. Everything is up to you, Master. Baishir said, eager to make a move. Xiaofan and Baishir floated in the sky outside the Wuxia tower, looking down at the earth. At this moment, Xiaohan's whole body was flowing with the spirit turtle true qi, perfectly concealing his aura. In fact, Xiaofan had returned to this plane for some time, but Junlingzi and the others had not discovered it. This was because Xiaofan had perfectly concealed his life aura. But now, Xiaofan had dispersed the spirit turtle true qi. His life aura, as well as the inadvertent flow of saber intent on his body, gushed out unscrupulously. Apart from the aura of the demon monarch's palm on his left arm, Xiaofan had completely unleashed his aura. Although Xiaofan was only a mortal at the moment, he had encountered too many fortuitous encounters. In addition, he had learned the 100 Lives Saber Dao. Therefore, his aura was extremely strong. It even vaguely gave off a feeling that he could stand up to immortals. Of course, this only meant that Xiaohan's aura could stand up to low-level immortals. However, if Xiaofan really used the 100 Lives Saber Dao, he could definitely kill level 6 or level 7 true immortals. In a city not far from the Wuxia domain. In a manner. Junlingzi and the 80 level 6 true immortals he led were chatting casually, ha 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 ha. This is interesting. There are dozens of mortals in this plane. They're going through the heavenly tribulation at the same time to become immortals. In fact, this is a rare sight. Generally speaking, in a mortal plane, only a few people have ascended to immortality since ancient times. But in this plane, there are dozens of them all at once. But they're just unlucky that they can't ascend. Now, they're all crippled. Pfft. I'm afraid that Xiaofan will vomit blood from anger when he returns and sees this situation. Ha 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 ha. This mortal plane has already been flourished by that bastard Xiaofan. But now, ha ha ha, it's in decline. This plane is in decline. Xiaofan must be dealt with ruthlessly. Injuring some mortals in his plane who are about to become immortals is only taking some interest. When Xiaofan returns, we'll deal with him slowly. A vicious glint flashed through Junlingzi's eyes. Xiaofan, a lowly mortal. How dare you make us wait in this mortal plane for so long? You've waited for so long. Damn it. Once I get my hands on you, I'll make you wish you were dead. Right at this moment. Junlingzi's expression froze. He shot to his feet and clawed at the air with his right hand. Xiaohan's life aura. That's right. Junlingzi roared. Xiaohan's life aura was provided to the First Heaven Society by some level 2 true immortals who went to the lower world after returning to the immortal realm. Yes. That's right. It's Xiaohan's soul aura. Good. Ha 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 ha. He's back. Ha 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 ha. Let's go. Senior brother Junlingzi, let's go capture Xiaofan right now. Let's go. A group of immortals soared into the sky and flew toward the Devil Hero territory. In the air above the Devil Hero pagoda, Xiaofan and Baishir were floating in the air. At this moment, Xiaohan's soul energy spread out and covered the entire plane like a fishing net. He searched every inch of the plane. At this moment. He really is a high-level true immortal. Finally, Xiaofan noticed Junlingzi and the others who were charging at him. Although Jun Linzi and the other immortals had concealed their auras with special celestial artifacts, Xiaofan could still roughly figure out the situation of these immortals with his powerful soul perception, 81 true immortals in total. One of them is a level 7 true immortal with extremely powerful attack power. There are also 80 level 6 true immortals. Xiaofan murmured. It seems that some immortal emperors in the immortal realm have put in a lot of effort to deal with me. If the level 6 and level 7 true immortals had come when Jia Lanzi and the other immortals were in the lower world, Xiaofan could only wait for death. But now, he. Baisher laughed like a noisy owl, as if he had seen the funniest thing in the world. Level 6 and level 7 true immortals. How dare they come here to die? Master, I can crush this group of immortals with one finger. Let me do it for you, master, wait. Xiaofan held back his laughter. Baisher, even the immortal emperors in the upper world don't know who you are. The 100 of you are comparable to mid-level immortal emperors. You are the secret trump card of Absolute Saber's master. Now, hide yourself and don't expose yourself. When you ascend to the immortal realm, that will be the best time for you to make your appearance. A bunch of trash doesn't need you to slaughter them, this. Alright, master, just be careful. Baisher accepted the order. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a ray of light and returned to Xiaofan's consciousness. Xiaofan was alone and empty-handed. He stood there with a smile on his face. Soon, a tidal wave of immortal chi approached from afar, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. Xiaofan. A disdainful shout followed. The next moment, a large group of immortals had surrounded Xiaofan. These immortals all used special immortal artifacts to conceal their auras, but the auras they released were enough to shatter any mortal's heart and soul. However, Xiaofan was fearless. He looked at Jun Linzi and the other immortals with a smile. Oh. Finally. Very, very good. Xiaofan, don't play tricks. Jun Linzi stepped forward, the expression on his face as if he was in control of everything. Puny mortal. Xiaofan glanced at Jun Linzi. Oh. Xiaofan, I can see that you do have some bearing. However, I can tell you now that you have no chance of resisting. You've probably killed immortals before, but those level 2 true immortals aren't worth mentioning, Jun Linzi said, flicking his fingernails. Xiaofan, treasures are the bane of your existence. Now, hand over everything you've obtained from Immortal Emperor Absolute Saber's treasure. Also, you should have some secrets as well. Hand them all over, then kneel and beg. Screw you. Before Jun Linzi could finish, Xiaofan spat on the ground and laughed. To be continued. Chapter 696. Finally, Xiaofan encountered the high-level perfected immortals who had harmed Wu Li and the others. Led by Jun Linzi, a level 7 perfected immortal, 80 level 6 perfected immortals surrounded Xiaofan. When they looked at Xiaofan, it was as if they were looking at a lowly ant, an ant that posed no threat to them at all. But then again, it made sense. Mortals and immortals were two different life structures. Even when level 2 perfected immortals like Jia Lanzi and Heaven Emperor descended to the mortal world, they could suppress all living beings and kill them. But these level 6 and level 7 perfected immortals could kill level 2 perfected immortals like Jia Lanzi with a glance. When they reached the mortal world, they could destroy countless mortal planes with a single thought. Therefore, theoretically speaking, no matter how many fortuitous encounters Xiaofan had, how heaven-defying he was, or what kind of immortal artifact he controlled, he couldn't defeat level 6 or level 7 perfected immortals. It was against the natural order of things. Besides, mortals couldn't unleash 1% of an immortal artifact's power. There was no reason for Jun Linzi to believe that Xiaofan could do anything to him. Xiaofan couldn't take it anymore. He yelled at the immortals. Jun Linzi and the other immortals weren't enraged at first. Then, they were stunned. They never thought that they would be scolded by a mortal in their lives. To them, this was something extremely new. Oh! Xiaofan, you dare insult us? Jun Linzi was speechless. TSK, unbelievable. He's so insignificant that he's at our mercy like an animal. How dare he insult us, Jun Linzi looked at Xiaofan curiously. He scanned him over and over again. It was as if he wanted to see through every inch of Xiaofan's body. His qi and blood are extremely vigorous. There's even the charm of an immortal body in his body. His soul and true qi haven't transformed into immortals yet. Strictly speaking, he's still immortal, but his body is already an immortal body. Oh, immortal body. That's rare. No wonder you dared to challenge us. Oh, right, you seem to have mastered an incredible saber Dao. Yes, to be fair, this is the limit of what mortals can achieve. He's invincible in the mortal world and doesn't even fear low-level immortals. But... He paused for a moment. Jun Linzi said unhurriedly, Xiaofan. I am a level 7 true immortal. Level 7 true immortal, do you understand? Moreover, I am a sword immortal with the strongest attack power among the level 7 true immortals. Ha ha ha. Xiaofan, you must have defeated many level 2 true immortals. However, in my eyes, level 2 true immortals, are trash. Trash. For example, a talented level 2 true immortal like junior brother Jia Lanzi, I can crush thousands or tens of thousands of them with a flip of my palm. Xiaofan, do you understand now? Have you figured out the situation? Idiot. Rats will always be rats. A mouse should play its part as a mouse. You still want to grow wings? Big brother Jun Linzi, don't waste your breath on this fellow. Take him away and destroy this plane. The level 6 true immortals began to clamor. At this moment, the countless chivalrous heroes and martial artists in the Wuxia domain were extremely quiet. They had all seen their plane's leader, Xiaofan, facing off against a group of high-level immortals in the sky. Xiaofan's expression did not change, and he remained calm and fearless. This caused the blood in the bodies of all the mortals in Xiaofan's dimension to start boiling. They could not wait to rush up and fight alongside Xiaofan. However, the mortals were also worried about their leader, Xiaofan. After all, the opponents were a large group of high-level immortals who could suppress all living beings. The doors and windows of the Wuxia tower were tightly shut. Many chivalrous heroes watched from afar, their hearts sweating. Xiaofan sorted out his emotions and said indifferently. The mortals of my plane are about to undergo their immortal tribulations and ascend to become immortals. At the critical moment, it's you who sabotage their tribulations and cause them to fall into a deep sleep. Am I right? Of course. A level 6 true immortal roared as he pointed his finger at Xiaofan and cursed. Xiaofan. Don't put on an act in front of us. They're just some mortals. It's fine if we kill them. What do you dare to do? We can even slaughter all the living beings in your plane, let alone stop those animals from undergoing their tribulations. In this world, the strong preys on the weak. The strong preys on the weak? Fine. You'll be the first to die. Finally, Xiaofan could no longer control himself. He slashed with his right hand. Puchi, a dazzling saber light flashed in the sky. The trajectory of this saber strike was in line with the heavenly Tao, as if it had forcibly cut open the chaos. This was a saber strike of creation. It was also a saber strike of destruction. The 11th move of the 100 Lives Saber Dao. It specialized in beheading. The next moment, slash. The immortal's head flew into the sky, and blood spurted out from his neck. Moreover, the saber energy seeped into his body, causing his life force to wither and wither. This saber strike was too fast. It was so fast that Jun Linzi and the other immortals had no time to stop it. Moreover, the immortal who had been killed didn't react until his head flew into the sky. His eyes widened and bulged out of their sockets, and a voice came out of his mouth. "Gugugu, how? How is this possible? I seem to have been killed by a mortal. How is this possible? Am I dreaming? I'm a level 6 true immortal. I'm quite famous in the immortal realm. In the Tianyi society, I've been steady, and I've even been praised by the sect leader. Why would I die here? Instantly killed by a mortal." Boom! The next moment, the immortal's head and body were minced into powder by the saber energy. Dead. He had killed a level 6 true immortal in an instant. Xiaofan didn't use any energy in this saber strike. He merely relied on the profound nature of the saber technique to kill a level 6 true immortal. This is the first time I've fought a real enemy since I learned the 100 Lives Saber Dao. Previously, in the purple trial space, I practiced saber techniques with a level 7 creature from an alternate dimension. It wasn't a fight. I studied the saber Dao over and over again. I imitated it again and again until I obtained the power to refine it and feed it back to the saber Dao. Now I understand how powerful Master's 100 Lives Saber Dao is. Xiaohan's mind raced. Then, the saber energy around him trembled slightly. Xiaofan looked at the group of shocked immortals in front of him. For a moment, he forgot all about honor and humiliation. Meanwhile, Jun Linzi and the other immortals. They looked like they had completely broken down. Calling them clay statues or wood carvings wasn't enough to describe their shock. The immortal's death was as unreal as a dream. It was as terrifying as a nightmare. Even Jun Linzi couldn't kill a level 6 true immortal with a single strike. Xiaofan. You killed an immortal. You're treacherous. Finally, Jun Linzi let out a roar that was filled with endless terror. His sword energy surged like a tide, and his immortal chi surged. His aura was unleashed bit by bit, causing the surrounding space to shatter into pieces. There's something strange about this Xiaofan. Let's attack him together. Jun Linzi was furious. However, the situation was still in the hands of the immortals. Even though they had lost one immortal, there were still 80 immortals left. No matter how strong Xiaofan was, he wouldn't be able to defeat them all if they attacked him together. That was right. A level 7 true immortal and 79 level 6 true immortals could kill a level 8 or even level 9 true immortal. What Xiaofan had shown just now was the power of his saber Dao. In terms of defense, he might not be able to withstand the instantaneous attack of dozens of high-level true immortals. The 79 level 6 true immortals didn't dare to be careless anymore. They directly released their auras. The auras of dozens of immortals were unleashed, causing cracks to appear in the space around them. Even the entire plane was moving. The Earth's crust was under heavy pressure and was about to change. The oceans were boiling, the mountains were moving, and the continents were about to break. The entire plane was in danger. Xiaofan. Accept your punishment. If you had handed over the Dharma treasure and your secret, you could have gone to the immortal realm with us. As long as you begged, you could have lived. But now, you've committed a heinous crime. Only death awaits you. You've killed the immortals of the Tianyi Palace. From now on, you have nowhere to run. Jun Linzi cried as if he had lost his parents. Forget it. It's all over. Xiaohan's expression was extremely indifferent. Just then, Xiaohan's soul sense lit up. Whoosh 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 whoosh, countless beams of light shot out from Xiaohan's head. Each beam of light carried a strong aura of the ocean. Then, each beam of light transformed into a creature with a powerful aura. Hundreds of strange creatures surrounded the 80 immortals, including Jun Linzi. They were humanoid creatures wearing azure armor. As soon as they appeared, a vast ocean appeared behind them. A group of sharks fought for supremacy, and a giant whale swallowed water. Level 6 creatures from an alternate dimension. Marine creatures. Their combat strength was equivalent to a level 7 true immortal. Xiaofan had as many as 10,876 marine creatures like them. In an instant, 876 marine creatures appeared. Although they had covered their auras with the spirit turtle true chi, the pressure of high-level creatures still enveloped them. The 80 immortals' auras were forcibly forced back. They were scared out of their wits as if they had seen a ghost. Master. All the marine creatures dropped to one knee before Xiaofan. What's going on? Jun Linzi was scared out of his wits, and a chill ran down his spine. These fellows, every single one of them, their battle prowess is on par with mine, but now nearly 1,000 of them have suddenly appeared, and they even called Xiaofan. Xiaofan, master, should we tear these guys apart? A cruel glint appeared in the eyes of the marine creatures as they approached the immortals step by step. Oppressive aura. 876 against 80. The disparity in numbers was too great. No. Don't come over. Some level 6 true immortals screamed. Stop. What are you doing? Stop. A bunch of idiots. Xiaofan waved his hand, gesturing for the marine creatures not to kill them for now. Now, all of you immortals, kneel down and beg for my forgiveness. If I'm in a good mood, I might spare your lives. Xiaofan flicked his fingernails and said lightly. Do you hear me? Kneel down and beg for mercy. Let's see if you can escape death. Otherwise, I'll blast you to pieces. To be continued. Chapter 697. Xiaofan couldn't be bothered to fight the immortals anymore. He released a group of marine creatures and surrounded them. With nearly 1,000 sea creatures, it would only take about 3 breaths of time to kill the immortals. No, 1 breath would be enough. Xiaofan was the one who could decide the life and death of these immortals. He had an air of arrogance about him as he said indifferently. Kneel, all of you. In the beginning, it was Jun Linzi who had asked Xiaofan to kneel. But now, it was Xiaofan who had ordered Jun Linzi and the other immortals to kneel. What an eye for an eye. This. Jun Linzi and the other immortals looked at each other with sinister expressions. Their eyes were filled with hatred and resentment, but more than anything, there was fear. The situation was not in their favor. Jun Linzi and the other immortals weren't fools. If they fought now, they would be instantly annihilated by enemies 10 times their size. Even if they used all their magic treasures and immortal artifacts, it wouldn't help. Moreover, under the influence of the aura, the immortals didn't dare to move recklessly, let alone use their movement techniques to escape. They knew that the slightest movement, or even the slightest breath, would cause them to be surrounded. It was a matter of life and death. This. Xiaofan. You win. You win. Finally, Jun Linzi gave in. I really didn't expect you to have such a trump card, TSK. Jun Linzi glanced around. You have close to 1,000 subordinates who are comparable to level 7 true immortals. What a big move. Indeed, Xiaofan, we have underestimated you. Everyone has underestimated you. You've arrived in the world of immortals. You can casually form a mid-level sect. There's no problem. Jun Linzi felt bitter as well. Yes, Xiaofan had such a foundation. Even in the First Heaven Society, the #1 sect in the world of immortals, a level 7 true immortal was definitely a core force. The First Heaven Society had an immortal emperor, as well as level 8 and level 9 true immortals, but they were the minority. Most of them were level 5, level 6, and level 7 true immortals. They were the pillars of the sect. The First Heaven Society only had about 2,000 level 7 true immortals. And now, Xiaofan was leading close to 1,000 level 7 true immortals to the immortal plane to form a group of intermediate immortals. Taking in lower level true immortals was no problem at all. What was even more frightening was that Xiaofan still controlled the resources. The treasures of Immortal Emperor Zhu Dao. Millions of treasures. We were wrong. Jun Linzi shook his head helplessly. Xiaofan, you're not a fish on the chopping block. Forget it, let's stop here. This matter. He's not someone that I, Jun Linzi, can control anymore. Now, Xiaofan. I, Jun Linzi, will lead my junior brothers back to the sect. Whatever happens after that, I, Jun Linzi, won't interfere. Hearing Jun Linzi's words, Xiaofan seemed to have heard the funniest thing in the world, ha 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 this. This is truly. Ha 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 ha, Xiaofan, what are you laughing at? Jun Linzi was slightly displeased. Ha 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 ha, dare I ask, did you immortals grow up eating shit? Xiaofan said with an incredulous expression. Now that the situation is firmly under my control, I can kill you like pigs and dogs, but you're telling me to stop. You want to return to the world of immortals in one piece? That's it? Are you telling me that you're going to let the life force of my sect leader and the others dissipate just like that? Xiaofan. You. Don't push your luck. Jun Linzi's face was completely red. What do you want? I already said, kneel, Xiaofan said indifferently. Don't you understand? Kneel and beg for mercy. Let's see if you can live. What? You really want us to kneel? The immortals growled. Xiaofan. Don't be so naive. You want us to kneel? Don't you know who we are? We're all immortals of the First Heaven Society. Do you know the First Heaven Society? The #1 sect in the world of immortals, our sect leader is an immortal emperor. You've offended the First Heaven Society. Even if you escape the 3 realms, you'll be reduced to ashes. How dare you be so aggressive? Xiaofan, don't make a mistake. Yes, Xiaofan, don't think that you have a group of subordinates whose combat power is comparable to that of a level 7 true immortal. But in front of the First Heaven Society, such a trump card is like throwing an egg against a stone. Kneel. Xiaofan said harshly. Or die. Ha ha ha. Die? This time, it was the immortal's turn to laugh. A level 6 true immortal stepped forward. You really dare to kill us? Ha ha ha. Don't be ridiculous. You've already killed a junior fellow apprentice of the Tianyi Palace. However, for this matter, if you personally apologize to our sect leader and pay compensation, he might let you go. But do you dare to kill all of us? In this way, the entire First Heaven Society will regard you as their mortal enemy. They won't stop until one of them dies. I don't believe you don't know this. Ha ha ha. Nonsense. You want to kill us all? Come on. Kill them. Do it. I'd like to see. Before his voice died away, bam. Dozens of sea creatures attacked at the same time, and a special air current burst out. In an instant, the arrogant immortal exploded. You think I don't dare to kill you? Xiaofan's face was ferocious. Now, I'll get back some interest for our sect leader. Kill. Xiaofan gave the order. A crazy, one-sided massacre had begun. Nearly 1,000 sea creatures unleashed their attacks to kill the immortals. Bam! 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 The immortals' bodies kept exploding like fireworks, and then they instantly withered. Xiaofan showed no mercy at all. No! No! Don't kill us. The immortals who hadn't been killed yet were terrified out of their wits. They wailed and knelt down, losing all of their dignity. They kowtowed as if they were pounding garlic. Xiaofan. Don't kill us. Order your people to stop. Jun Linzi knelt down and kept kowtowing. I was wrong. Xiaofan. I know I was wrong. Please don't kill me. I'm willing to atone for my sins. Let me go back to the immortal realm. I'm willing to use my wealth to atone for my sins. I'm willing to give you all my wealth. Please forgive me. You. Kill. Kill them all. Don't leave a single one alive. Xiaofan waved his hand casually. Bam. 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 All the immortals, including Jun Linzi, they were all killed by Xiaofan's sea creatures. Xiaofan. You dare to commit such a heinous crime. How dare you kill us? You've become the mortal enemy of the Tianyi Palace. Xiaofan, we won't let you go even if we become ghosts. We'll tangle with you forever. Before these immortals died, their resentment was so strong that they burst out a deep curse. A bunch of scum. Xiaofan rolled up his storage ring and put away all the broken bodies of the immortals. Even the remnant thoughts were absorbed, leaving not a single drop behind. The Wuxia Pagoda. The 87th was still treating Wu Yu and the others. On the other hand, Xiaofan and Bai Shi were having tea in a resting room. Ha ha ha. Master, you're so happy. You killed those arrogant ants. Bai Shi laughed strangely. Well. I heard that they're disciples of the Tianyi Palace. It seems that Brother Jialan is also from the Tianyi Palace. Xiaofan took a sip of tea. The Tianyi Palace? The #1 sect in the immortal realm? Yes, Master. The owner of the invincible saber also mentioned this Tianyi Palace. It's indeed powerful and seems to have a grudge against the owner of the invincible saber. But Master, you don't need to worry at all. You've inherited the mantle of the owner of the invincible saber. With our help, you don't need to be afraid of the Tianyi Palace at all. If worse comes to worst, we can directly destroy this sect when we arrive in the immortal realm. I'm not afraid. Xiaofan gently put down the teacup. But I also need to cultivate in seclusion for a while. Cultivate well. After a pause, Xiaofan seemed to have made a decision and stood up. When the sect master and the others wake up, I'll return to the Pure Cloud sect and reunite with my wife and children. Then I'll quickly enter the Wuxia Pagoda to cultivate in seclusion. I'll break through to the immortal realm. Besides, I'll also feed the immortal corpses I've collected during this period of time to the palm of the Demon Emperor in my left arm. Although I'm not afraid of the Tianyi Palace, I still have to pay attention to it. In the immortal realm. In the Tianyi Palace. In the Heavenly Palace. In the palace. The leader of the Tianyi Palace, an immortal emperor, was talking with several other immortal emperors. Jun Linzi is the backbone of the Tianyi Palace. He's capable and resourceful. Besides, he's also a sword immortal with extremely strong attack power. If he leads 80 level 6 genuine immortals to the mortal realm, he can easily destroy the entire mortal realm, let alone capture Xiaofan. The leader of the Tianyi Palace said with a smile. Now, what I'm most worried about is that Xiaofan will be buried in the treasures of the invincible saber. As long as Xiaofan can take out those magic treasures, Jun Linzi will almost certainly get them. Well, that's true. He's just a mortal. Alas, we're actually worried about a mortal. It's really ridiculous. Ha ha ha. Yes, it's ridiculous, the few immortal emperors burst out laughing. Right at this moment. What? The leader of the Tianyi Palace suddenly let out a shrill scream of disbelief. What's going on? Jun Linzi and the disciples he led to the mortal realm, all died. What's going on? The leader of the Tianyi Palace was completely stunned. Then, boom, 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 boom. The entire area where the Tianyi Palace was located was filled with fierce wind and lightning. The lightning, which looked like flood dragons, tore the void apart. When the immortal emperor was angry, the weather suddenly changed. Xiaofan, you're good. 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 That's great. I've underestimated you. Never would I have thought that a mere mortal would actually be able to kill a group of elites under this emperor. Good. Xiaofan. I'll pay attention to you. I swear, I'll slaughter your whole family. I'll make you wish you were dead. Roar. In the mortal realm. In the Wuxia region. In the Wuxia Tower. Just a few days later, there was good news from the 87th generation. She had saved Wu Yu and the others. To be continued. Chapter 698. Xiaofan brought Baisher with him as he anxiously rushed into the secret chamber. The 87th came up and looked at Xiaofan. Master, I'm glad to have done you, 87th, you've worked hard. After I've completely refined and controlled the treasures in Master Invincible Blade's treasure, I'll give you a few high-quality magic treasures, Xiaofan said. The 87th was flattered. Thank you, Master. Soon, Xiaofan rushed into the secret chamber and saw Wului and the others who had woken up. At this moment, under the 87th's treatment, Wului and the others had indeed woken up. However, each and every one of them was still pale as paper, their breathing was weak, and their eyes were blurry, with a sleepy smell. Xiaofan saw this and felt bitter in his heart. His soul and mind immediately shrouded out and penetrated into the bodies of Wului and the others. Xiaofan found that whether it was Wului, Xiao Mingchu, Yan Lang, or the elders of the Demon Hero Tower, the ancient giants, at this moment, their bodies were empty, without the slightest bit of true qi. In their dantian, the place where true qi was stored was now dry and shriveled, and even emitted a rotten aura. Their meridians were also dry, and their qi and blood were exhausted. They were worse than ordinary people. This sect master and the others are all crippled. Detestable. Everything is the work of the Tianyi faction. Detestable. Xiaohan's heart surged with infinite anger and grief. Xiaofan, you're back. Good. That's great. Wului whispered. His eyes were full of hope when he looked at Xiaofan. He didn't seem to care about his current situation. Master. Yan Lang and the other 5 slaves from the other planes also smiled. Junior brother Xiaofan, leader Xiaofan, everyone who had woken up. They all called out to Xiaofan with hope. These people. They were once the most powerful existences in this plane. At one time, they were also about to ascend to immortality, but now, they had fallen to such a state. Xiaofan was very sad, and he choked slightly. Good, it's good that everyone is awake, junior brother Xiaofan, we don't know what happened either. That day, when we were crossing the immortal tribulation, it seemed like we were about to succeed. However, an indescribable power suddenly severed the connection between our souls and the immortal realm. After that, Xiao Mingchu said in a daze. Well, someone is causing trouble. Xiaofan said vaguely. However, I've already killed all of them. This is all my fault. I've attracted too much attention during this expedition. That's why some of the higher-ups in the world of immortals have become covetous of me and have sent people down. Sect leader. You've all been dragged down by me. Ha ha ha, Wu Lei laughed in a carefree manner. Xiaofan. It doesn't matter. You don't have to blame yourself. In fact, even though we weren't able to become immortals, we've all experienced it. We've experienced too many things that we weren't qualified to experience. We also know what it's like to become immortal. It's worth it. It was all worth it. Even if I die, I will have no regrets. No one blamed Xiaofan in the slightest. In fact, they didn't harbor too much resentment. They were just open-minded. At this time, the 87th came to Xiaofan's side and said in a low voice, "Master, don't worry. The condition of your close friends is extremely stable. It's just that their cultivations have been crippled. However, once we reach the immortal realm and find that special immortal plant, not only will they be able to recover their cultivations, but they'll also be reborn and reach a higher level. That's all we can do." Xiaofan heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, there's still a chance. Thus, Xiaofan withdrew the 87th and the 100th into the solid spirit planets in his sea of consciousness. Then, he led Wu Lei and the others away from the demon pagoda and strolled among the nearby mountains to breathe in the fresh air. "Xiaofan, what do you plan to do next?" Wu Lei asked as he walked side by side with Xiaofan. Xiaofan stared blankly at the distant horizon. Sigh. "Xiaofan, now that you've offended the number one sect in the immortal realm, this..." Wu Lei frowned and shook his head. "This is too troublesome. Xiaofan, if you knew this would happen, you wouldn't have killed that group of immortals. Those immortals will definitely die," Xiaofan said with a smile. "They've already crossed the line. Moreover, they want to steal all the secrets on me. Sooner or later, it'll be a fight to the death." Xiaofan paused for a moment before continuing. "Sect Master, you don't have to worry about me. This time, I have enough strength and secrets to fight against any sect in the immortal realm. I don't care about the insignificant First Heaven Society." "Xiaofan, you..." Wu Lei stared at Xiaofan. He could sense the breathtaking confidence and courage in Xiaofan's eyes. If it were any other mortal, saying that they were not afraid of the most powerful sect in the immortal realm would be a fool's dream. However, Xiaofan was different. Xiaofan said these words casually, but they showed his incomparable conviction. There was no doubt that they could only choose to trust him. "I really didn't expect." Wu Lei laughed and shook his head. "Who would have thought that a puny target of my sect would grow to such an extent? Defying the heavens, fighting against the heavens, slaughtering immortals, and even fighting against the most powerful sect in the immortal realm." Xiaofan smiled casually and said, "Heh. Sect Master, you must be joking. I was forced by the situation. Right now, the Celestial World Celestial Sect and even other sects, as well as immortal emperor-level existences, are definitely targeting the disciples, brewing a storm. Therefore, time is of the essence." Wu Lei, Xiao Mingchu, and the others all looked at Xiaofan. "There's no time to waste," Xiaofan said firmly. "I'm going to cultivate in seclusion as soon as possible and break through to the immortal realm." Xiaofan paused for a moment before adding, "Now that I have to face so many powerful beings, I must become an immortal, even if it's only a level 1 true immortal. Only then will I have full confidence." Yes, once Xiaofan became an immortal, his combat strength would soar again. 1. He would be able to refine all the treasures in the immortal emperor's treasure, including those few supreme and heaven-defying treasures. 2. He had the qualifications to enter the 4th level of the immortal emperor's treasure. The 100 Lives Saber Dao was still lacking the last bit of maturity, and it was also the most exquisite part. 100 lives to 1. There was still a part of the core of the jade tablet in Xiaofan's body that had not been broken through. Once he entered the 4th level, he would be able to obtain the true inheritance of the immortal emperor's Saber Dao. It was not impossible to open the door to the Saber world. Moreover, Xiaofan had collected many pieces of immortal corpses and used them to feed the demon emperor's left arm, which also greatly increased his demon power. Saber Dao, demon power, all kinds of demon techniques, soul and spirit power, as well as countless slaves from other dimensions. This would be Xiaofan's capital to fight against the immortal world. Good. Xiaofan, then you should finish dealing with the mundane matters as soon as possible and go into seclusion to cultivate. Wu Lei also said seriously. Xiaofan, it shouldn't be a problem for you to become an immortal. With your temperament and tempering. Breaking through the barrier between mortals and immortals is as easy as drinking water and eating. Moreover, with your current combat strength, you can already kill a large number of immortals. Sect Master, Senior Brothers, let's return to the reincarnation sect first to enjoy a few days of peace. Xiaofan decided to go home. The faces of his wife and children couldn't help but appear, causing Xiaofan's state of mind to be incomparably calm. And also incomparably intimate. Mountain Range. Xiaofan finally brought Wu Lei, Xiao Mingchu, Dongfang Qin, Fang Ling and the rest of the people from the reincarnation sect home. Xiaofan's wives had tears in their eyes. The pain of missing each other for the past few years had all melted away in the intense embrace of Xiaofan. His son, Xiaoan, could already call him father. He was very cute. Moreover, under the nurturing of the many true Qi realm disciples of the reincarnation sect, Xiaoan, who was only a few years old, had already refined his muscles, bones, internal organs, marrow and blood extremely well. He was expected to step into the true Qi realm in his teens. Xiaoan had inherited Xiaofan's bloodline very well, and could be considered to be talented. Although he was young, he was destined to stir up the wind and clouds in the future, a great figure who controlled the universe. Xiaofan stayed with his family in the reincarnation mountain range for 3 days. Then, he led the entire sect, including his relatives, to the demon pagoda. Xiaofan arranged for everyone to settle down in the demon pagoda. Then, he found the best spiritual secret chamber and entered it. Seclusion. Xiaofan was going to undergo a thorough cultivation. This was a cultivation of the realm. Although Xiaofan's combat strength was heaven-defying and could kill a level 6 true immortal in an instant, in the end, he was still immortal. What he wanted to break through to, the true Qi realm. Currently, Xiaofan's true Qi realm was at the 7th stage of the talisman realm. After opening 70 true acupoints, his true Qi condensed into a natal talisman seal. Xiaofan's natal talisman seal was heaven-defying. In the mortal world, it was the most terrifying talisman seal. Back when Xiaofan created this natal talisman seal, he had refined the true Qi talisman 10 times, reaching a total of 117,000 refinements. This made a natal talisman seal have the power to topple mountains and overturn seas, sweeping through heaven and earth. In terms of pure true Qi power, Xiaofan had 1800,000,000,000 ding. It could be said that Xiaofan was the first in the entire mortal world when it came to the cultivation of real Qi realm. And, no one had ever been able to surpass him. No one could surpass him. Now, Xiaofan was going to break through to the 8th stage of the true Qi realm, the talisman array realm. Then, the 9th stage of the true Qi realm, the true treasure realm. Finally, he would open his heavenly eye. Perfect 10th stage of the true Qi realm. Ushering in his own immortal tribulation. While breaking through to the true Qi realm, Xiaofan took out the fragments of the immortal corpses he had accumulated from the storage ring. The demon emperor's palm, which had been the most restricted in the treasure and had no place to be used at all, finally recovered. The demonic power inside surged. Moreover, it emitted a monstrous vortex that absorbed the floating immortal corpses, broke them down, refined them, and turned them into demonic power. One should know that Xiaofan had killed many immortals in the preliminaries and arena battles on the 2nd floor of the exterminating saber immortal emperor's treasure. Especially in the preliminaries, he had killed hundreds of immortals. Therefore, Xiaofan had accumulated a mountain of immortal corpses. At this moment, they were all used to feed the demon emperor's palm on his left arm. Immortal corpses were completely different from mortal corpses. The fragments of the immortal corpses were extremely dazzling, shining like gems. At this moment, the left-armed demon emperor's palm swept out and swallowed the fragments of the immortal corpses that were like gemstones. In the demon hero tower. I hope Xiaofan can directly attract the immortal tribulation when he comes out of seclusion this time. Wuxia and the others sat in some lounges and discussed. Now, Xiaofan's seclusion had become the focus of the entire world. All the mortals were praying. The immortal world. The Tianyi Palace. The current Tianyi Palace was completely shrouded in a haze. What was originally a clear sky was now foggy and heavy. The upper echelons of the Tianyi Palace, led by the sect leader, were all furious. Jun Linzi and other high-level true immortals were originally the backbone of the Tianyi Palace, but they died after completing a mission in the lower realm. This was definitely a rare humiliation for the number one sect in the immortal world. The back mountain of the Tianyi Palace. The back mountain of the Tianyi Palace was the area where the coffins and memorial tablets of the disciples of the past generations were placed. In the Tianyi Palace, all the disciples had made soul jade slips and placed them in the back mountain. Once they died, these soul jade slips would also shatter. In this way, the Tianyi Palace always knew the safety of their disciples. At this moment it was obvious that the soul jade slips of Jun Linzi and the 80 level, 6 true immortals had all shattered. It meant that they had died. Moreover, their corpses had fallen into the mortal world and could not be found to be buried in peace. Today, everyone in the Tianyi Palace was wearing mourning clothes and came to the back mountain. The atmosphere was silent, full of anger, hatred, unwillingness, and murderous intent. The sect leader of the Tianyi Palace was wearing a white robe. His eyebrows were like swords, and in his eyes, there was a terrifying scene of a planet disintegrating and exploding. Sect leader, please give us special immortal artifacts and let us go to the lower realm. We want to destroy Xiaofan's realm. We want to avenge senior brother Jun Linzi and the others. Countless disciples of the Tianyi Palace roared. Shut up, all of you. The sect leader of the Tianyi Palace waved his hand. That Xiaofan was able to kill Jun Linzi and dozens of other high-level true immortals. This person has a huge secret. I underestimated him. Now, we can't blindly send disciples to the lower realm. We have to figure out Xiaofan's background. After a pause, the sect leader of the Tianyi Palace looked at Jun Linzi's shattered soul jade slip and said indifferently. I will use my supreme magic to summon Jun Linzi's soul back for a short time. Within 100 breaths, I will make Jun Linzi tell us Xiaofan's secret. Tell us, what kind of trump card does Xiaofan have to be able to kill high-level true immortals so easily? To be continued. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.